Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Round 14 to the 2021 L-TAC Cup Series slate brings us to America's home for racing for 61 laps around one of the most unique tracks on the schedule. 2 weeks ago, it was a slugfest of a rodeo down in Texas as we watched Eric Watchorn notch his second win of the season, while points leader Holden McGill had to settle for a runner-up finish after losing the top spot late. Now with the series ready to attack the Charlotte Roval, anything can happen. Can Brett Fisher ride this wave of momentum after an all-star race win on dirt 1 week ago? Or will a new name climb to the top of the charts after flexing some road warrior muscle tonight? This is round 14 of the 2021 L-TAC Cup Series from Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, and it's coming at you live here on Pit Stop TV. Good evening, everybody, and welcome, as we mentioned, to the 14th race of the season. I'm Eric Brennan, going to be joined on the call tonight by Emerson Arden. Andrew Cardinale IV is handling our production duties tonight, and Nate Stewart is on the team here, helping us out on social media. And speaking of, be sure to catch us up on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. We'll give you more information about that a little bit later on tonight. However, before we dive into tonight's broadcast, we want to pause and reflect on something that took place on this day 2 years ago. It was on April 30th, 2019, that a gunman opened fire on the campus of the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, not too far from where the Charlotte Motor Speedway is located. We here at Pit Stop TV felt it would be appropriate to take some time to remember, acknowledge, and honor those who were lost on that day. Ellis Parlier and Riley Howell. And we also want to extend our hearts to all those who were impacted by the senseless tragedy that shook a school, city, and nation to its core. And while it is absolutely impossible to properly transition to the task at hand tonight, we do in fact have a race to be run and a lot of storylines coming into this event leading us up to the second road course race of the season. Now, when we look at the championship standings, Emerson Arden, Holden McGill has been atop the standings for quite some time, but Merrick Watchorn, by virtue of his 2 wins, he's starting to make some noise up there in the top 3.
Oh, yes, that Texas win, I think that's really set him off now for a great little run. And it's going to be interesting to see how a little road course throws a wrench into things in these points, Eric.
Yeah, now I'm excited to see how this all pans out, and we already saw in qualifying, there was some pretty incredible times that were said. How about Logan Hamilton? Was so close to winning in Texas a couple weeks back. He's on pole. Point leader Holden McGill going to line up alongside in second spot. Take you back now to row number 2 after qualifying was just put in the books a little bit ago. How about Jeremy Berger? This is a great opportunity for him, and Joseph still looking for his first win of the season, going to roll off in 4th spot. Rounding out your top 5 in tonight's starting lineup, Anthony Musati, who has been strong all season long, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin in 6th spot, looking to try to find victory lane for the first time this season as well. Row 4 will take you now to the 7th position, where Brett Fisher, who fresh off that all-star win 1 week ago, is going to start 7th. Outside is going to be Barrett Guphold in 8th, and rounding out our top 10 is going to be that of Colin Stone in the 43 and Cody Meadows in car 46.
We found our way back to row 6, and it'll be Stefan Purcell. He'll be starting alongside last week's winner, Merrick Watchorn, from the 12th position. Back to row number 7, we're going to find, it'll be driver of number 33, Robert Pattengale, and Ryder Schrauf, making up the outside of row number 7. And in the final row for tonight's race, Frank Flores and Sean Deal did not set a qualifying time. The 44 driver did.
So we've got 16 cars slated to go for, if you look at the schedule, it's 55 laps. However, it's going to be 61 on the stopwatch. Here's a look at the track we're going to be running on here. This Roval that was constructed in 2018 for NASCAR competition, and hats off to our very own Andrew Cardinale IV, who does a lot of work at this racetrack. He actually gave us a couple of names to talk about, including that of the Hammerhead at turns 3 and 4. You can tell why just by looking at the shape of that sector of the racetrack. The Redneck Roller Coaster, that's a name they actually use for the electric cars when they run on this very particular layout. Of course, they'll then enter onto NASCAR 1 and 2 and down the backstretch, and that newly widened chicane that does in fact mirror what these drivers are facing in the sim. They'll also have that to deal with, turns 11 and 12 through NASCAR's 3 and 4, and then that one chicane which they will be utilizing under race conditions, but not for restarts. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later on, but as you can see, the field is already getting set to come to the green flag, where, as we mentioned, 16 cars getting set to go for what will be an expected 55 green flag lap run. First stage going to be 12 laps, and we are getting set to get underway. The field is now going to come to the green flag, and we are underway for the 14th race of 2021 for the L-TAC Cup Series here at the Charlotte Roval. And as the field now makes their way up towards the straightaway that connects turns 4 and 5, you can see Logan Hamilton is wasting no time to open up the advantage over the new second-place runner in Jeremy Berger. We talk about this being an opportunity race. Berger is another name that is yet to visit victory lane this season, currently running in the runner-up position for now in that Burger King entry, as it is going to be Hamilton leading him up onto the banking under speed or at speed for the first time.
Ooh, and already getting right up and close person with the wall. How about Joseph? He's going to blow right on by point leader Holden McGill up into the third position. We saw Joseph show some muscle at Sonoma, so he's expected to be running towards the front here. We're only working halfway through lap number 1. Let's see if Joseph can climb his way forward throughout the rest of this race. Now look back here through the bus stop. Oh, it's so tight through this back straightaway chicane.
And you saw there momentarily one of those cars in Jeremy Berger catch those turtles that they call, the curbing that protects that back straightaway inner loop, and that's going to be something to keep our eye on because it could totally upset your lap time or maybe even stuff you into the barrier. Now into the front stretch chicane for the first time, and Hamilton has set sail. 1.7 seconds the margin, and this stage length here is going to match the car number of Hamilton as problems for the All-Star race winner. Brett Fisher has had an issue in the final chicane on the front straightaway, and he has now plummeted down the running order after he started up in the top 10.
And we're going to get a look at the replay here, but especially on cold tires, these cars do not slow down on a dime. We're going to see here he's carrying a lot of speed off of NASCAR 4 now through turn 15. He's just going to start sliding, lock him up, and he'll have to cut, or he'll end up cutting turn 17. He'll have to come to a stop and then get back going.
And that mirrors what you would see in a NASCAR event here. If you miss the front or backstretch chicane, you have to come to a complete stop, or you will in fact be subject to a penalty. So heads up move by Fisher there, not to overreact by that long slide of the front tire that put him in that precarious position. But as you can see, he's fallen from where he started back to 14th of 16 cars in this running order, and he's got some work to do if he wants to grab himself his first points-paying win of the 2021 season. Although Logan Hamilton continues to stretch the lead at the front of the pack, Berger and Joseph currently running in second and third. Top 3 have not gone to victory lane yet this season, and the battle for third is beginning to intensify. Now, if you did not catch the broadcast, which Emerson Arden was privy to be on that call 2 weeks ago at Texas, Slugfest is an understatement. We saw so many cars and so many drivers throwing dive bombs on one another and bouncing off each other, and these were 2 of the players in the mix there. In fact, your leader Logan Hamilton was another, and of course the driver who ended up going to victory lane when all was said and done in Merrick Watchorn. And I believe that even though we've had an all-star race between then and now, some of these drivers haven't forgotten about all that rough riding that went on, and now this is an opportunity to try to take back what may have been taken from you given the circumstances just 2 weeks ago, and these 2 are running in very close proximity to one another.
Oh, absolutely. You have so many opportunities to, give a little payback, especially some of these, tighter and longer braking zones. You can just get in a little deeper, give a little nudge, and just mess with the guy ahead of you. We'll see if that happens. I'm not expecting that to happen on lap 3, but check out that final stage, especially where that's where what matters most happens in that final stage. And we're going to see the intensity ramp up here. Joseph going a little wide through the bus stop here. He's actually going to get passed back by Holden McGill. He did pass him in NASCAR 1 and 2 on lap 1, and right back to it. Third place, Holden McGill coming off of NASCAR 4 into the front straightaway chicane.
Yeah, we saw here as we watch now Watchorn trying to hold on to a spot. And just behind Watchorn, we have Pattengale who's trying to make up some ground here on the driver who went to victory lane the last time out, Robert Pattengale. This is an opportunity for him as well to perhaps lay down some pretty solid results. And he is he's now running with the Shake and Bake Racing team with Frank Flores, and they're actually running 12th and 13th respectively. So Pattengale doing all that he can to close up on some of the front runners, and we can expect to see Pattengale's name work his way further forward. As we check in on Brett Fisher down through the Heartburn turn at turn number 1. You see the Tums logo there on the infield. That's how that corner got its nickname, with a partnership with the track back in 2018 as well. And Fisher, as somebody who has not had success at some of the intermediate tracks, only one road course race prior to tonight on the points paying side of things, Fisher came out and displayed a level of dominance late in that all-star race on the dirt. And I know that dirt racing and road racing typically don't correlate with one another, but I kind of thought that may be a boost of confidence that Fisher really desperately needed to get things back rolling here on the championship points paying side of things. He comes into tonight's race, 12th in championship points. He picked up 2 spots by virtue of a solid finish. Only one top 5 this season, though. So I was hoping we'd see a little bit more out of that NOS Energy Ford. And Fisher, despite the one bobble and slip, he's trying to put in some good laps, and he's going to have a stage break coming not too far from now. If you could just keep that thing clean and point in the right direction, Emerson, he may have a shot to move. Oh, just we say that, he gets tagged.
Sean Deal will get the 30 car. Oh, no, in another car. Is that Frank Flores coming in? Oh, no. And things happen so quickly in a tight corner like that, a heavy braking zone. We're going to get a replay here. I think Sean just got in a little hot, was trying to peek to the inside, and it made contact. But we'll see here, coming off a NASCAR 2 down the straightaway. The braking zone comes up really early, and Sean could have also been caught out by that. Side by side, and that's so hard to tell.
Yeah, and you got to give a lot of credit there to Pattengale, and unfortunately his teammate comes in here and gives him a tap there in the left rear, but Pattengale came to a complete stop, almost as a... I'm sorry, that was Sean Deal. That's my mistake. Almost as if Deal was trying to take a little bit of responsibility there. He didn't want to get going and just take the spot away. He wanted to give Fisher a chance to gather that back in and get back rolling and not take the spot in such an unorthodox way. And unfortunately, while Deal was sitting there waiting, that was when the contact came from behind by Flores. So unique turn of events here on lap number 5 of this race. But one thing that is not changing is the driver out front, and that lead continues to grow. He's got it up to 3.8 seconds right now. Does Logan Hamilton, 4th in the championship points, 4 top 5s on the season. But the big important number that Hamilton is trying to fix is that goose egg in the win column. But don't look now. The points leader in Holden McGill is starting to close up on Jeremy Berger in this race for 2nd in turn 1.
Yeah, boys, this is some stage wins. We're now coming up through halfway now in this first stage. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th going at it hard. Jeremy Berger trying to hold on to that 2nd position. Holden McGill has been flying forward, and Joseph, even after his little bubble putting him back behind Holden McGill, has followed him right up to that number 97. Here we go through the redneck roller coaster. And this is on a very, very slick track. These corners are most treacherous. 6, 7, and 8. They're oh so slow, but Jeremy Berger's going to go around. He's going to save it. No.
Oh, and now Holden McGill is going to spin as they come back up onto the banking. That's turn 8. He got a little bit sideways there. Joseph takes the spot away. So that chain of events that began with Berger's slide is going to catch out the point leader and cost him a couple of positions. And I wonder what he may have done to those tires by that semi-slide.
And we'll see here, and again, it's so difficult, especially when you're running all on top of one another right there. Jeremy gets loose, no contact there, and then I think Holden maybe checks up. Joseph doesn't, and that's where the contact came from right there off of turn number 8.
Yeah, Joseph did not anticipate McGill slowing down at that degree to try to allow Berger a chance to catch it. We're on board with him now, driving one of the many cars that are carrying the Pit Stop TV decal for an extra added cash bonus if he could win a couple of stages or a race win tonight. You see there, it was McGill just slowing up for Berger that allowed Joseph to tag the left rear and send McGill for a semi-slide that cost him 2 spots. And things are now going to pick back up here as Anthony Musatti has worked his way up into this mix as well. That's the white number 49, 3rd car in line as Joseph gets a good run out of 4. He's going to move to 2nd. Berger's going to lose 2 spots there heading up to 5.
Yeah, with how tough this track is, it's really tough on tires as well. And I think Jeremy Berger has really cooked those tires. We saw Joseph as we were coming out of replay. Joseph was actually working to the outside of Jeremy Berger, caught the wall in the 2nd corner. And that's really going to make him a sitting duck here for Anthony Musatti, who's just driven his way straight forward into the top 3 and looking for 2nd now.
Yeah, Joseph also that time as they came out of turn 7 looked like he scrubbed the wall there as well. So he's pushing the limits. We've seen him attack these inner loops and these chicanes on the front and back straightaway pretty aggressively. You see Musatti light up the back tires that time as well. But I'm with you, Emerson. Musatti's a car that is on the move. And, when you look at the championship standings, by virtue of his 11 starts this season, he has gone to victory lane for Badger Racing so far this season once already, but he is outside of the top 12 in points. And this appears to be an opportunity for him to make up some ground. And he is certainly laying down some flyers and closing on Joseph for the runner-up spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's remember where his win was. It was at Pocono. And people, they say they could shift at Pocono. You can run Pocono like a road course. So him doing well here at the Charlotte Roval is not all that surprising. It takes a certain kind of skill level to be running at this part of the field on these types of tracks.
And when we were looking at the potential favorites into tonight's race, I thought to go back and look at Sonoma. And at Sonoma, Derek Roval ended up leading all but one lap there in what was a true whipping on the field. However, Roval's not here tonight. In fact, there's a number of names which we're accustomed to seeing up front in some of these races for the L-TAC Cup Series who are not in this race. And Jack B. Ryan's another one who we're normally talking about on the ovals, and he's missed 2 races already. This will be the 3rd one he's not here at. And we saw Grant Peterson joking in the broadcast chat earlier that he's watching for the spotter stand tonight. So a couple of heavy hitters here electing to forego this contest at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval and kind of sitting back and seeing what the competition has in store this afternoon. And we'll see how that fares once the final rundown is here after our 3 respective stages. And we mentioned 61 laps total, 55 laps of green flag racing is the objective. As it looks though Cody Meadows has had a bit of a moment here. This is coming through turn 2. That car looks like it's pretty ill handling here as he approaches turn 3, and we'll see what happens to Meadows here.
Yeah, he's gonna be really, really wide, trying to arc it into turn 4, but he'll just slide and keep it on going. He'll keep it on some sort of pavement or paint over there, but that's not the ideal line to turn forward by any means.
That's pretty much me any time that I end up strapping behind the wheel of one of these cars on a road course. Now we go back up here to Joseph, and we'll try to see what he's got going on as he was trying to hold on to one of the front running positions. And the good news for these drivers is that they're all going to get a break in a moment here to catch their breath. They see him working here on Jeremy Berger, and gets a little bit squirrely here coming up towards the inner loop, gets the left side tires into the grass. He's going to try to square up Berger here on the exit of the chicane. Berger used a lot of curbing as well, with Masadi trying to close up their 3rd car in line. And this fight continued down into turn number 1, and Berger slides up nearly across the bow of Joseph. Oh, that's a tight place to run side by side, and there is where he caught the wall. That's what we were talking about earlier, Emerson. That was pretty significant contact.
Yeah, he absolutely bodied that wall. I honestly am shocked that he's still up in 2nd. He's actually pulling away from Holden McGill now. So we'll see here. We'll catch back up with Joseph. Look at the right side of that car. Oh, back here, Musadi and Berger going at it for 4th.
Boy, and Berger there on that position on the inside of that final corner, you're so susceptible to catching that curbing, and he's going to try to stay in there in turn 1. Look at him muscle that car down to the inside to defend Masadi off for now, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin is loving what he sees in front of him. That's going to allow him a chance to close up here and fight for a top 5 spot as we're just a handful of laps away from the end of stage 1. First stage going to go for 12 laps. Second stage going to be 12 laps as well. The final stage slated for 31 laps, and they accounted for caution laps there as this race is going to go 61 laps on your ticker. We're hoping to get 55 laps of green flag racing in here if these drivers are able to mind their P's and Q's throughout the duration of this event. But we got a great fight going on here for 4th on back.
Yeah, TBB, he's kept that number 1 car clean, and he's ready to eat now in that 6th position. He's got 2 pieces of meat dangling in front of that lion back here. And Jeremy Berger, he's for as much as he lit up the tires earlier, he's holding his own in 4th. I'm actually thoroughly impressed with this 97 car. I know after a couple laps you're going to get those tires back to temp, but these guys, they're running all over each other. I don't know how you have any time. Oh, that's a big hit from Musadi.
Yeah, Masadi there caught the wall at a place in which I don't think I've ever seen somebody make contact with the safer barrier there. That was coming through the backstretch inner loop at turn 12, and look at how much ground it cost him. He's followed about 6 or 7 car lengths back from Berger, who's done an amazing job holding on to that 4th spot. And he's going to have to do it for a little more than a lap. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, the next car that you see there in line, running in the 6th position. But this continues to be one of the best races we've got going as Masadi slides again that time on the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, he sees it now. He knows that this spot is his. If he can just keep it calm, cool, and collected behind this 49 and keep pressuring Musadi into making those itty-bitty mistakes, but they'll add up right there. They both catch the turtle there in turn 4. Now here into turn 5, very tricky. Is that a lapped vehicle up ahead as well? That's Ryder Shroud, but it's going to make things even more trickier.
Yeah, Shroud doing everything he can to get up and out of the way of these leaders, and if he could stay in this position, he may be able to reap the reward of the upcoming caution that we expect to see here, if not this time by, then perhaps the completion of lap number 12, about a lap and a half from now. With Hamilton still out in front by about 10 seconds, I stand corrected. He's going to put a lap here on Brett Fisher, so Fisher would be in that optimum position to reap the reward of the upcoming caution, but boy, Logan Hamilton has put himself atop the list of favorites in tonight's race with an absolutely dominating stage 1 performance, and he has gotten himself out into a healthy lead. And as producer Andrew Cardinale IV reminds me, he dominated here 1 year ago as well. So this is a track that certainly suits his style, and this may be the opportunity that he was looking for to enter the win column in 2021, and he has no pressure from behind whatsoever.
You're looking for redemption, Logan Hamilton is. He made a strategy call on the last stop of last season's race, took two left side tires. Road course was very tricky. Whoa, there goes the 23 of Frank Flores off and exploring in the grass.
Flores goes off right in front of the race leader. He's going to rejoin here, but go a lap down. So Joseph just now arriving on the scene to try to get by, but we'll see what ends up happening there as Hamilton now has the lead up out of the exit of NASCAR Turn 2. He's just a couple of chicanes away from a stage victory, and Hamilton appears to have that car set on cruise control so far, with Butcher Benjamin now, who we are on board with, climbing the banking, trying to crack the top 5 before this stage comes to a close. He's got some work to do on Masadi.
And Musadi, he's really kept it clean now into the back straightaway chicane. This is pretty much one of the last hurrahs TBB's got for a top 5 in the stage, but here comes Logan Hamilton.
Hamilton will come off the final corner. He's going to grab the opening stage win in dominating fashion from the pole, leading every lap along the way. And he is going to come to the line here and cement himself as the stage 1 winner at the Charlotte Roval. Here's that fight for 5th as they come to the final chicane with Butcher Benjamin trying to close.
It looks like Musadi's got to hit that curbing as well. He'll sideways, but he'll hold on to 5th place there in the stage. And now back here.
And this is Merrick Watchorn, the Texas winner, who has climbed up into the top 10 with Barrick Uphold just behind. And I love the fact that you can feel when these drivers get back to the gas how light the back end gets by virtue of these runs and how much abuse they're doing to those back tires getting around this racetrack. Uphold with a last-ditch effort to pick up one more position. Looks as though he's going to hold the final spot in the top 10 for now, and he will be the last of the top 10 drivers to come to the line to close out stage 1 with Watchorn and Uphold wrapping up that top 10 running order at the time that we see the caution for the official conclusion of the first stage here in what has been the Logan Hamilton show by far. Now that the caution flag is out, Emerson, let's take one more look at the points. We didn't get a chance to dissect it as deeply as we had wanted to. We talked about victories being a big deal. Joseph, Logan Hamilton, Butcher Benjamin, they're all drivers running in the top 6 in this race right now, trying to crack victory lane for the first time. And as of right now, I'd say we got pretty good chances that may happen tonight.
Oh, absolutely. They call they're starting to call road courses now more and more as equalizers when it comes to these stock car races, and you're really seeing this here. Logan Hamilton, well, he's fast every week. Don't get me wrong. He's up there 4th in points for a reason, and Joseph as well. They have some sort of edge this week, it seems like, at this point at least, over maybe some of the main names we see up front on most of the ovals. And we saw Derek Roval out of nowhere come in and have a great showing at Sonoma as well. So road courses really bring some names that you think that they're just right there. They just need a little something more, and they get to this road course, and it seems like it's right up in some guys' wheelhouses.
Now you see the drivers that are highlighted in red. They're on the outside of the playoff cut line right now. Now, we mentioned some drivers on here tonight. Jack B. Ryan, Grant Peterson, Derek Roval. There is some drivers who could afford to take a night off. But if you look at some of the competitors there, like Frank Flores or Barrick Uphold holding on to that final cut line spot by 2 points. Now, Stefan Purcell is in this race here tonight. Ryder Schraub not having a great start to his day. You also have Sean Deal in the field as well, along with Robert Pattengale. And one of the reasons is they are fighting literally to try to get themselves into playoff contention, as the number of races that we have before the time that we reset the field is starting to run out. We got Auto Club in 1 week's time. We'll be at Indianapolis, Phoenix, the Charlotte Oval, and then we kick off our playoff stretch. So these guys are running out of time to sort out who these top 16 championship contenders are going to be. And I think that that's why the race that we may see not only at the front half of the field, but the back half of the field is going to carry a lot of significance tonight as well.
Absolutely. Battles all over the place, and these battles, they're going to get more and more intense as the night goes on, and we still have yet to see our first round of pit stops here. There's our stage top 10. Logan Hamilton, again, with the win. And you notice there, Barrett Guppold there in 10th. He was 2 points above the cut line. That would be a third point that Stefan Purcell did not get, because Stefan Purcell was 11th. At the end of stage 1, so that's also very important to watch. If you're watching that cut line, watch the itty bitty movements in position on your ticker on the left hand side of your screen. It's gonna tell a lot of the story over these next couple weeks.
And this stage break coming at a critical time here. Look at the track temperature, 123 degrees. This race being held right about noontime in the sim, so it's right in the heat of the day in the virtual Concord, North Carolina setting. And we heard from a number of drivers and from series regulars, we're getting set for pit stops. The track is slick, and we could see that, whether it be getting on the binders or back to the throttle coming off the corner. These guys have their handful. I bet they probably feel like they haven't left the dirt track from Bristol in the All-Star race from 1 week ago. Let's see how pit stops fare, though. So Logan Hamilton's had the edge all night long on the racetrack. What could he do in the pit lane? Joseph right on the rear spoiler as he approaches his pit box. We'll see if things get shuffled up here as these cars come down for their first bit of service during this race. So we'll keep our eyes here. Looks though just about everybody came down for service. The pace car was the only vehicle that I saw on the top right-hand side of the screen that time. And I think Hamilton has learned from some of the things that have happened to him in the past, and he's going to make sure he's got fresh rubber for this upcoming restart, and he will beat the field off the pit lane.
Yeah, Joseph, and that very damaged number 20, it looked very damaged, at least on my screen, at least the front end. He squeaks out the second. So we'll see how Joseph fares on a restart alongside Logan Hamilton.
All right, so let's get a chance to talk to our Stage 1 winner, Logan Hamilton. It wasn't just a win, it was a dominating win. You made a statement there in that opening stage, going on a win by about 9 seconds plus. What is it about this racetrack that just suits your style as a racer?
I like braking. I mean, it's been pretty evident throughout the whole season that I seem to do better at tracks you have to use the middle pedal at, and I'm a big F1 fan, and I think just sitting there watching F1 helps me with that somehow.
Well, obviously, we still got 2 stages left to go. About 3/4 of this race remain, but your confidence seems pretty high up there. I mean, are you worried about what could or will go wrong, or do you think this one's pretty much going to be yours for the taking here as this race continues to unfold?
I think I just got to worry about myself, not worry about anybody else. Race the track, and we showed last year, and we showed in that first stage we got the pace, and as long as we're smart and take 4 tires under green flag and do all that, we'll be good.
Well, I know you've been so close so many times this year, Logan, and I think we're all subliminally hoping that maybe tonight is your night. Hopefully we'll be talking to you a little bit later on tonight, Logan. Go get him, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
And that is Logan Hamilton, our Stage 1 winner and current leader. As you see Joseph shortcutting the chicane there on the caution lap. He's going to slot back up in the second position. And Emerson, one of the things we talked about, we're a little more than a lap away from seeing it, but it is the fact that these restarts are going to be taking place not through the chicane that leads them up to the main straightaway. That is actually something in which the admins are busy. Typically, the sim wants you to come down through there, and it will issue a black flag, but we were notified earlier that the officials will clear that, and that's the way in which they want these restarts to be handled to try to lessen the likelihood of some madness breaking out by the time to get back to the start-finish line. Your thoughts? I haven't had experience in the sim with having to start or restart under these circumstances. It seems from a distance this is a good move. I'm curious what your take is on it.
Oh, absolutely. I am all for going through the actual NASCAR restart zone there in the quad oval. I've done both. Had restarts in the restart zone and restarted in the chicane there. It is not fun, especially if you're out there on maybe not so fresh tires. You really have to watch your wheel spin. And I mean, you always have to watch your wheel spin on restarts no matter what, but to also be turning and trying to accelerate from, 50 miles per hour, it is so difficult. And it really is probably the biggest point to have accidents is on a restart like that. And before we even get up to speed, before we even cross the line, we could be under caution again. So I am very thankful that the admins are willing to put in that little extra work, make sure we have a cleaner restart, at least have a shot running down to turn 1 to get these stages underway.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that we're going to have to follow here, and we'll be able to see it play out here for the first time on a restart set of circumstances. We saw it on the initial green flag, and it was kind of funny to see those cones go flying everywhere. Let's take a quick moment here and thank the partners who make these broadcasts possible for us. And we'll remind you that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Tucson Sound Art. Remember, your picture, your music. Don't forget to use the promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off your wall-mounted Sound Art device today. We're also brought to you by our friends at Race Pace. You can pick up the pace with Race Pace, a community-driven setup shop and driver development program. We're also brought to you by our friends at Permanent Makeup in Maine, because you deserve the best care that money can buy. We're also brought to you by our friends at Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV, and our newest partner on the platform, our friends at BAM Racing Videos, which is, I got to say, Brandon Mettler is a really close friend of mine. I've gotten to work with him on a number of occasions. We've actually used some of his footage on our broadcasts in the past. He's a stand-up guy who does a stand-up job behind the camera at a racetrack. At BAM Racing Videos, you got to check out all the content they have to offer, because he covers a bunch of different races and events and venues all throughout this quadrant of the country. So thanks to those partners for allowing us the chance to bring you what we see here tonight, and that is some absolutely incredible racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. So we're getting set for the restart. Logan Hamilton, Joseph, your top 2. Holden McGill, Jeremy Berger, row 2. Taylor Butcher Benjamin and Anthony Musatti, who have been locked in a tight battle for 5th, with Butcher Benjamin getting the edge off the pit lane to round out your top 5. Musatti will restart in 6th. Corey Meadows and Colin Stone, your top 8. Barrick Uphold and Stefan Purcell, your top 10. Getting set for that shortcut here as they come back up onto the main straightaway. They will stay straight, and Hamilton will lead us back down for the restart in stage 2, scheduled to go for 12 laps as we are back underway from the Charlotte Roval with the L-TAC Cup Series. Boy, Musatti there that time went barreling off into the corner, and somebody paid the price that time. Looks like that might be Flores who went for a slide there in turn number 1. I stand corrected. That's Barrick Uphold who was the one who did not benefit from all that rooting and gouging that took place when Musatti stuffed it in there as they went in turn number 1 on the restart, and he is able to live to fight another day. Now Butcher Benjamin off the pace.
Yeah, these restarts, it is such close quarter racing on any restart, but on very, very tight and unforgiving corners, it's almost inevitable that some of these guys are going to have a mistake. And wow, we saw Cody Meadows send it down in there into turn 1. He was curb hopping and everything. We'll see here on this replay and see what happened.
Yeah, we're going to go back to what happened to Meadows. Remember, he had that scare coming through turn 4 earlier in the race. We're going to check it out here and see what happened on this restart. We mentioned he started up in the top 10. In fact, restarted 7th. So that's him in that 46, that red, white, and black machine, right behind Taylor Butcher Benjamin. But watch Musatti here come from outside of row 3, slide that left front tire up onto the curbing, bounce off the point leader Holden McGill, and it looks as though Uphold may have gotten a tag from behind as he was trying to avoid what could have been carnage up ahead of him. Tough break for the driver, who was well up in the top 10 at the time of that incident, but fortunately for him, he's got another stage break coming in the tune of about 11 laps or so to try to make up that ground he just lost there.
Yeah, I gotta apologize. That was not Cody Meadows. There 2 red and white cars. That was Musatti there. And wow, look at that. Sean Barrick Uphold just little tag in the rear from, I believe that was Sean Deal. And he's gonna have to get back going. But luckily on a road course, if you just keep some decent pace up, if you keep it on the track, the laps are long enough, and the stage is only being 12 laps or so, already a couple laps in. Should stay on the lead lap. Here's Ryder Schraff on the pit lane.
Yeah, Ryder Schrapp, one of those drivers who, as we mentioned, was outside the cutoff line when we looked at the championship point standings. He was already a lap down. I believe he might have been able to take advantage of the wave around the last caution, because we see him now being scored on the lead lap. So he was probably coming in for service here. That's just my assumption. We might need confirmation from Ryder a little bit later on. But back up to the front of the field with Hamilton, unable to open up that 1+ second advantage he did on the first few laps after the initial green flag. Joseph's keeping him honest, but here's a car that's been on the move since the drop of the green in Merrick Watchorn, the driver who won the last points-paying race of the season. And we got more problems there with Robert Pattengale. That's through the backstretch inner loop. Let's see what happened.
And we'll see here on this replay, Robert Pattengale was in the thick of the pack, running, I guess, more towards the middle. We'll see here. This is him coming off a NASCAR 2. Looks like nobody's directly near him here. He's following 2 green cars up there and into this back straight with chicane. Looks like he's just gonna carry a little too much speed on that first apex and or into the second apex and go around.
Tough night so far for Pattengale, but despite the couple of hiccups here and there, that car looking still relatively clean for the most part compared to what we've seen some of these cars look like after some road course races, or particularly races here. And now Musati with a big problem, and he's got some clear damage to the back bumper of that car, and that looks like that's coming around the exit of turn number 6 and 7. So Musati falling down to 8th right now, but he's got a lot of damage to the back bumper of that car. Remember, he was the one who was going for 3rd on the restart. Let's try to see what happened to Musati here this time.
Yeah, here's the replay. Musati there gets some turtles there in 4. Now down to short shoot to turn 5, and looks like he's all by himself. Maybe this starts and then he gets collected by somebody else here in the 6. Oh, he tags the wall on the right hand side, and he'll keep it straight, but that was a good bit of damage to Musati.
That was bizarre. Not sure I've seen that before. Wasn't sure if he got a little bit loose and just had to catch it all the way till he got to the concrete wall and driver's right, or if he maybe misjudged his apex of the corner. But nevertheless, Musati, who has been really fun to watch storm his way up through the field, kind of had to hit the reset button here, as he's got Colin Stone as well as Merrick Watchorn having a fight for 6th in front of him. And Musati's not really slowing down. He's catching these two at a pretty quick pace here. Oh, big bobble there by Watchorn, and he's around as he comes off the corner.
Whoa, man, there's so many spots on this track that are going to get you here, and he'll collect it and get going. And back up here to Musati. He's already gotten back by Taylor Butcher Benjamin, now looking forward to try to get Colin Stone as he works his way through 7 and 8. Musati, and how about Colin Stone? Having a nice little day up there in the 6th position. He's been steadily working on these runs here, and 6th is not bad at all on this tough of a track. That is awesome.
Yeah, right now Stone is 1 spot shy of potentially grabbing his 2nd top 5 finish of the season for the bumper-to-bumper racing team, and he's got a very hungry and fast, and I will say aggressive Anthony Musati. And I don't mean that from a driving perspective as far as if you're in or around him on the racetrack, but as you saw in the backstretch, he slid that left front tire yet again. So that's about the 2nd time we've seen him get really aggressive and really late on the brakes. First one was on the restart, 2nd one was that time through, and that doesn't account for the 1 misstep that he had coming through turn number 6 2 laps ago. So he's on a bit of a charge, as is that of Jeremy Berger. Berger is having an incredible night tonight. He too looking for his 2nd top 5 of the season, and believe it or not, he is closing in on the points leader Holden McGill for a podium spot that will not go away. These two have been tied together all night long.
Yeah, if road courses aren't, really your thing, I mean, that's not saying that they're not for Holden McGill. He's running 3rd. But at this point of a stage or the race, you should be, pretty much settled in. Maybe the battles are to this point, but Jeremy Berger is keeping Holden McGill honest, and is going to make Holden McGill have to, work to hold on to that 3rd position. There's no off laps in that 21 car if this 97 continues at this rate.
And for me, it seems as though it's been a constant to see Holden McGill's name atop the championship point standings. And I look back at just how tonight's race has unfolded on top of how things went for him at Texas. I mean, leading the race with 3 laps to go, made a slight mistake and caught the apron. And he was one of the few who was able to catch his race car and not pay a huge price by having that misstep with somebody on his back bumper. Then tonight, he had that semi-spin earlier in the race while trying to avoid running into the back of Jeremy Berger at one point in this race, and on the last restart after the stage break, he gets hit in the left side by Anthony Musatti. This is somebody who has found a way to not only minimize his difficulties and troubles so far in the season, but also be able to back it up with solid performances regardless of what type of racetrack he's on, and this Charlotte Roval so far has been no exception. A little bit of damage there to the backside of that car, but he may not have the pace to keep up with Joseph up ahead of him, but so far he's doing everything he has to try to keep this still a relatively good point stay, and more problems for Ryder Schrauf on the backstretch.
Yeah, Ryder Schrauf, we're going to get a replay here. Had a mistake there into the back straightaway chicane, and he's just trying to stay on the lead lap here. He pitted, of course. He took the wave around in the first stage caution, just trying to keep himself on that lead lap. And here into the back straightaway chicane, it's like a little bit of a wheel hop, and it hits the wall there on the right-hand side. And have to come to a stop there in the middle chicane. Grab a gear, get back going, but wow, this track will bite you anywhere, man. It'll bite you anywhere.
The good news for Schrauf is the fact that there was nobody coming as he sat broadside in the racing groove. We're going to go on board with him here and just watch the hands as Schrauf comes on this back straightaway and gets on the binders a little bit. And you'll see him try to counteract the car, trying to look in the opposite direction. Boy, it snapped in a hurry, and I'm with you. It looked as though a little bit of wheel hop there, or maybe a little bit too much on the rear brakes that time going through that left-hander that leads to that chicane. Schrauf, though, able to quickly grab a gear and get back going and minimize the damage by a result of that misstep. And I got to say, when you're having a night like Schrauf is, sometimes you could utilize that big gap that you have to the competition in front of you to learn the racetrack a little bit more. I mean, on some of these occasions, you cannot get enough track time when you're racing on a track that is as unique and difficult as the Charlotte Roval. And I wouldn't be too surprised, as there's more problems for Barrick Uphold, I wouldn't be too surprised if Schrauf was trying a couple of different braking points, perhaps, to see if he could improve on his lap time, and it just came back to bite him. And now we're going to see what happened to Uphold this time on the front stretch chicane.
Yeah, here's Barrick Uphold under heavy fire there from, that is the 91 American Watchhorn. And into the front straight of chicane. Is he going to lock it up here? He's just going to miss that first apex, and we'll have to come to a stop.
Yeah, it looks as though, I'm not sure if Uphold came to a stop, but he definitely lost some positions there, so I'm not sure if he's going to be automatically given a penalty or whatnot. We're going to have to see what the officials decide on that one. He certainly slowed down enough to lose positions, but I did not see that car come to a complete stop, unless we perhaps may have missed it there. But Uphold is continuing on, though. However, he has fallen back to the 11th spot, so he is 1 spot shy of what would be points-paying positions towards the end of the stage, trying to close up here on Stefan Purcell for what would be a spot in that top 10. So far, though, Logan Hamilton is doing everything that he has done so far tonight, but he has not been able to leave Joseph in the dust. That margin has stayed under 1 second pretty much since we got this race back underway. And as of right now, Joseph is keeping himself in contention there.
So it's just told that you do not have to stop when you miss a chicane. You just have to follow iRacing's direction, which they give you a designated amount of time that you have to give up by being off the accelerator or slowing down, more for a braking zone or whatever. You have to give about 3 to 5 seconds, depending on how bad you miss the chicanes, back to the rest of your competition. So that's what you have to do if you miss a chicane. If drivers come to a stop, it's just an easier way to go at that time. But here, yeah, with Logan Hamilton, once again, very dominant that first stage, like last season as well. His competition, they picked up a little something. They didn't get straight up to him until he made his 2-tire stop, but they were there and they were keeping him honest as well. Logan Hamilton has to keep running perfect laps, or he had a little bit of a bobble there in that first stage. He was out 3 seconds ahead, but he can't have those now with Joseph breathing down his neck.
Yeah, Joseph is definitely starting to close up here, and there's some lap traffic up ahead. That's Ryder Schrauf, and hats off to Ryder there. Well, just I say that, he was going way wide to try to give the leaders room, but as he does that, he hits the wall. Oh, and he catches Joseph and stuffs him in the barrier on the straightaway out of turn 4.
Oh my goodness. I know I would not be happy if I was Joseph. He was doing everything right, but we'll get a replay here. We'll see exactly what happened. And Ryder Schrauf, yeah, I mean, he's pressured, trying to give way to the leaders. Just a bad spot to be running wide. Tried to carry some sort of speed through 4 and bounced off the wall. Was blinking as well. Nowhere for Joseph to go, man.
Yeah, and I will say Ryder Schrauf had the best of intentions by trying to give the leaders room on the bottom of the racetrack. But when you see in the sim how many marbles and dirt and debris accumulates offline, Schrauf just got to a point on the racetrack where I don't think he was expecting to have as little grip as he did, and it kind of caught him off guard. He was doing the right thing. He did slow his pace. It just appeared to not be enough, and he got himself off into the barrier. And by the time Joseph arrived on the scene, there was pretty much nowhere to go. Now, granted, it could have been much worse. I mean, we could have seen Joseph bury the front end of that car underneath Ryder Schrauf's fuel cell on the exit of the corner, but he did apparently sustain some left and right side damage. It doesn't appear to be too much on a cosmetic perspective, and I mean, mind you, we've seen Joseph scrub the wall twice already tonight, make that 3 counting the incident that happened right here a lap ago, and he is still not losing all too much time to the leader in Hamilton, as we've got about 2 laps to go in this stage.
Yeah, a lap and a half or so, and Logan Hamilton, he can start, taking it easy for now. But Joseph, even though he lost about a second and a half there, he's still in second, and there's no big mistakes that this 12 car can make to hold on to that lead. Joseph, man, that front end was already smashed in on the stage restart. I don't know if it was smashed in the first stage and I just didn't notice, but at least I noticed first time on a stage restart. And I don't know, he's been keeping some sort of pace with Logan Hamilton with that damage. So like you said, damage is not gonna stop Joseph at this point. We'll see if he can hold on to that 20 car. But when it comes to road courses, if you can just keep carrying your speed, when you get to a certain point of damage, it's over. But damage like that, cosmetic damage like that, is not going to affect your running here at a road course like the Charlotte Roval.
And I will say, one of the things I love about motorsports in general is the storylines that develop. And again, I hate to keep harping on how incredible Texas was, but I was not on the call for that race. Emerson Arden and Trey Shuttlesworth did a great job carrying that race to its conclusion 2 weeks ago. It's on the YouTube channel for Pit Stop TV, but with about 10 laps to go, it was these two that you see on your screen running first and second, Logan Hamilton and Joseph, who also happen to be the highest running drivers in the point standings right now without a victory. You could see, feel, and visualize all of the tension and desire for one of these drivers to crack the win column this season, despite the fact they've proven time and time again that they are some of the top-tier drivers in this series. And it was evident there towards the end of that race. Unfortunately, all the contact that's slamming into one another cost both of them a chance to win. They finished 3rd and 4th, respectively. But tonight, we hit the reset button, and they have a chance here to get that job done. And Hamilton has proven himself to be a bit of a favorite here, as he is a few corners away from capturing the flag for another stage win, but Joseph is lingering not too far behind. He may have an opportunity here to repair whatever light damage may be on that car as they approach the stage break, but so far for Logan Hamilton, he has been 2 for 2 if he can navigate this final corner, and he will. Second stage win of the night for Logan Hamilton at the Charlotte Roval. He continues his streak of perfection and bests the field this time by 2 seconds as they come to the line over Joseph. We drop back now and watch Barrick Uphold trying to do all he can. We mentioned that cut line, Emerson. Barrick's got that on his mind, and he sees a point up ahead of him.
Absolutely. The live points would say about 3 points right now he has over Purcell with that point he picked up at the end of stage 1, trying to get that extra point here in stage 2. Sean Deal holding his own into the bus stop. We'll see if he can hold it on the front straight, which it can. Again, 2 very difficult braking zones in these stock cars. Anything can happen, man.
So Uphold trying to get back to the power here as they come through NASCAR 3 and 4, turns 13 and 14 on this Roval layout. But so far, Sean Deal's had an up and down night himself, trying to hang on as Uphold goes full send in the final corner, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be Deal taking the last available stage point, while Uphold is going to have to watch that points-paying position drive off into turn number 1 out ahead of him. I'll tell you, Uphold may be kicking himself later on in the season, depending on how things fall, but he can be proud of the potential that potential point that he had when he captured a stage points position at the end of stage 1. So it looks as though we're going to go one more lap. So let's hit the rewind button and say that Logan Hamilton has now won his second stage of the night ahead of Joseph. And that means that Sean Deal's got one more lap to hold on to that 10th spot, but Uphold may have to concede defeat for the time being. It looked as though he wasn't pressing as hard as he did after they came to the line, but it's Hamilton who gets himself the stage win over Joseph, Holden McGill, Jeremy Berger, and Colin Stone. Going to be your top 5.
Yeah, we'll see here. They'll have to keep coming across the line. Sean Deal, he's starting to pull there on Merrick Uphold. But again, the job Logan Hamilton is doing, man, he's just got to nail this green flag pit stop strategy. At this rate, at least. We'll see what happens on the restart. But he's got to nail that strategy, and we might be talking about Logan Hamilton some more. But Joseph, last lap, destroyed the wall coming out of turn number 8. I don't know how that 20 car is still up here, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible to watch him battle back from all the adversity that he has had so far here today, as now we see the caution to signify the end of the stage. So top 10's not going to change by virtue of that extra lap around, but we do know that Logan Hamilton continues to be the dominator. He's led every lap. He's actually trying to better the mark in which Derek Roval set at Sonoma. He led all but one lap. Cole Freilich got him at the line during one of the sequences of events that unfolded in that race. But so far, Hamilton's trying to go wire to wire here, and he's going to have to try and hold on for the final 31 laps or so as we wrap up this stage here. And he now has the stage win under his belt for the second time tonight. Joseph, that time, instead of being about 9+ seconds back, he was only 2+ seconds back. And Holden McGill, the points leader, continuing to do what Holden McGill does, remain fast and consistent, stay out of trouble. And he's currently rounding out your front 3 here as we await for these drivers to potentially hit the pit lane for service as the pace car intercepts the field.
Yeah, I mean, it should be 4 tire stops for everybody, but you never know the kind of strategies people might pull off here. 2 left side tires that Logan Hamilton took last season. I doubt it, but we saw how crazy that restart was. You know, maybe some of these guys might feel the intensity is picking up, might not want to be in the middle of the field, and might intentionally drop back if they're not up here fighting, you know, hard for points. We might see some people bow out because that was close with Anthony Mussolini on that last restart. And this final stage, this could be the final opportunity we have at a restart. And, you know, restarts means that you have that opportunity. That's your best opportunity to gain spots. And some people might be really aggressive on this restart. We'll have to see.
Yeah, so a lot of events still left to unfold. You see one of the cars going by. I believe that's Ryder Schrauf taking advantage of the free pass to get back on the lead lap after a couple of his misfortunes here tonight. But also, I mean, you mentioned pit strategy being a big deal. Time on the pit lane. I admire the fact that Joseph has been so aggressive on his approach to getting to his pit box. I mean, borderline drawing up to the rear spoiler or back tire of Logan Hamilton as he tries to get into his pit box as quickly as he can. Any bit of an advantage is what these drivers are looking for here. And it's going to come to a bit of a head here, perhaps on this next and upcoming restart. We saw how Anthony Mussolini was in such a rush to pick up positions from the outside of row 3, making it 3 wide to the inside of row 2 on the last restart. I think we may see something similar here because this restart upcoming is the only one we have left that is essentially guaranteed. So it may be a last-ditch effort for the competition to try to do anything with Logan Hamilton, and that's considering whether or not he could survive this stint he's about to have on the pit lane, as it looks as though everybody is getting set to come down, and Holden McGill may get held up a little bit there by the lap car, as Joseph is on the backside of Hamilton as they approach their pit boxes.
every 10th matters, and maybe that's why his front end was pushed in. But no, actually, it's also a very tricky pit exit. Look at this. He is riding the back end of that 12 car, waiting for the boxes to turn in here. Remember the pit box rule, and they're both going to stop on the marks there. And the thing here is, you see where that pit exit line is, and then look at right after that, you have to make a hard left turn. You can't just absolutely gun it out of pit lane. You have to, be considerate about that tire barrier that's waiting for you about another 50 meters.
And despite the aggressive nature, you're going to see Joseph come up a little bit short there as far as trying to beat Hamilton out of the pit lane. It will be Logan Hamilton who goes back to the point, with Joseph coming out in second spot, McGill third, and then a gap back to what appears to be a new fourth place runner in Colin Stone. You talk about getting it done on the pit lane. He's going to leapfrog over Jeremy Berger and company to jump up to a top 5 position. So we were talking about Colin Stone and how well he's running here tonight. How about that virtual team getting it done on pit road, as he's going to be set to restart in the 4th position? And let's get a word with him here. Colin, this has been a great night for you so far. You're looking for your second top 5 finish of the night. What are your thoughts here as we get set for the second half of this race?
I mean, I wasn't expecting to finish, so I'll take it.
Well, you're doing a lot better than just making laps out there. I mean, you've got some speed, and you also just picked up some spots on the pit lane. We've seen crazy things happen at the end of these L-TAC races the last couple of weeks, and I mean, the seas may very well part ways and open the door for you to find victory lane here tonight. What's your goal? You're going to try to make up some spots here on this restart, or are you thinking maybe just kind of ride and survive to the end of this thing?
I'm riding and surviving. This setup is way too loose for me to push. So I'm just trying to stay alive, don't die, and that's really all I care about.
Story of my life, Colin. Best of luck to you, my friend. Hopefully we'll be talking to you a little bit later on. Great job tonight overall, and we wish you the best going forward in the second half of this race.
All right, thanks, man.
Again, that's Colin Stone, who is certainly, as Emerson Arden mentioned earlier, been a driver to watch, having a spectacular run here tonight. And as you can see, he's up to 4th. That's about the highest we've seen him run here so far. We'll make it official when he gets back to the line. And right now, Colin Stone putting his name into the mix. We talked about, Emerson, the potential of variables in tonight's field. I know that the top 2 haven't gone to victory lane, but we kind of expect them to run up front based on how their season has unfolded. But, I mean, you got Colin Stone up there. You got Jeremy Berger up there. I mean, there are some names and some drivers who really are putting themselves in contention in what some may call a wild card event of the season.
Absolutely. Once again, road courses, they're starting to become more and more like equalizers on the schedule. And, with the playoffs just around the corner, drivers are also trying to improve their seating for when it comes to those playoffs. So it's going to get really interesting, how all the math works out for the points and all. But with that kind of a stage run for Colin Stone and duplicating, what he did in stage 1, he's setting himself pretty. He's going to be also outside of row 2 when we go green, should anything happen with the front 2 drivers.
Absolutely, and as you can see, we're double wide here momentarily. We're going to step aside momentarily. We'll take one quick break for our restart. We'll be right back here to get this race underway for the final stage, the Charlotte Roval.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Getting set to kick off Stage 3, the final stage of the Charlotte Roval event, round 14 of the 2021 L-TAC Cup Series season, with Logan Hamilton in the same position he's been in all night long, P1. He and Joseph are going to lead us back down for the green flag. What may be the final restart we see tonight with Holden McGill and Colin Stone in row 2 as we're back underway for the final stage. Who's going to win it? Seeing a lot more respect that time as they came down into turn number 1 for that restart, and everybody survives the first 4, now 5 corners here as we are back underway. The question is, can Joseph stay with Hamilton while McGill and Berger are locked together in a fight for 4th, make that 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Stone was the one car that lost the spot on the restart as they're back up on the banking with Hamilton still out in front.
If you look at that 20 car, we're gonna fall back here with Jeremy Berger trying to fend off Colin Stone. Colin Stone, he was excited. Whoa, a bobble there for Jeremy Berger. Colin Stone will go to 4th here into the bus stop chicane.
That is not a spot where we normally see these stock cars have a big moment like that, and Berger is lucky that did not turn into a huge accident, as now Corey Meadows thinks it's his turn to try and pounce, and he is not able to get by Berger just yet, as Jeremy continues to hold the final spot in the top 5 with Meadows trying to close on the braking. Here's that 20 car that we were talking about, though, Emerson, as they come back to complete the first lap off the restart, and he is still right there with Hamilton, but you were referencing something there on that 20 car.
Yeah, if you look at it, it is clean. So he used this fast repair under that stage brake, expecting that this was going to be the last restart of the race, and fair enough. And he's got a clean car, all that horsepower should be right back in that baby. We could see him have a real shot at Logan Hamilton. As is, Cody Meadows has gone around Jeremy Berger. So move Cody Meadows in that 46 into the top 5, and Jeremy Berger under attack from Merrick Watchhorn. Whoa, a slide! Hold on to it.
Oh, he's still sliding his Berger. Wow, what an incredible job by him to hang on to that car as Watchhorn is applying the pressure to try to get closer to the top 5. Berger is someone who has been at the front of the field all night long, but it appears as though as this race enters its second half towards completion, Berger is struggling with the handle of that car, and it happened right here off the restart. But I think you're right, Emerson. It looks as though that with that cleaner, a little bit leaner and meaner looking 20 car, Joseph is ready to do battle with Hamilton, something we've seen him do all season long, and it came to a crescendo at Texas 2 weeks ago, and now they're going to try to settle it amongst themselves here on the Charlotte Roval. But we still got a long way to go. But if he gets an opportunity, I think he's got to take it, but as dominant as Hamilton has been all night long.
Absolutely. I thought something was going to transpire on that restart. We still watch Merrick Watchhorn as he looks for his opportunity around Jeremy Berger. And how about that? Fastest lap of the race for Logan Hamilton, feeling the most pressure he's ever felt today from Joseph. This is the closest anybody's been to the back end of that 12 car that wasn't under a caution. Like, this is new territory for Logan Hamilton today. He's having to push this car in, potentially could push this car over the edge. We'll see if he can hold on to it, but he's open now on another 3/10 to Joseph.
You bring up a great point, Emerson. The fact in which this is the most pressure in which Hamilton's been under all day long up to this point in the race. It's got to make you wonder if he's going to start to extend his braking points or perhaps get back into the gas a little bit too soon and put that car and put that driver in a position that he hasn't been in before so far tonight. That could be the opportunity that Joseph is looking for here as Watchhorn and Berger continue to go at it. We see Watchhorn now in front of Berger, but Jeremy is not letting that spot go away too easily, but he has a small mistake there as they came through that bus stop on the backstretch. And now Taylor Butcher Benjamin is next in line to try to keep knocking Berger further down the running order. Boy, it's been really hard to watch Jeremy fall down the running order so far as he's been running so good here tonight, but it looks as though he's struggling mightily right now.
And once again, I think with the very, very hot track temp, with the slide there he had in the 5 and 6, look, it's dropped another 10 degrees. It's 112 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, another moment for Jeremy. Here he goes, TBB to the inside, and I don't know. That 97 does look very off the pace. Does he have fresh good years on that 97?
Yeah, wondering if he's playing a little bit of strategy here, if he should get an opportunity later in this race. You see, he almost slides up into Butcher Benjamin off 4 that time. But that seems to be one of the common threads we're trying to figure out here in the broadcast. Who's smoke in front of him? That means one of the front runners. That's Watchhorn who's had a problem. That's coming through turns 5 and 6 that time. And now more problem.
Sorry, I was just saying Holden McGill also had a mistake. So 2 of our front runners, 2 of the top 5 drivers having mistakes there in the redneck roller coaster. This race has been turned upside down. Taylor Butcher Benjamin into the top 5 all of a sudden.
And how about Colin Stone? He talked about how his goal was to ride and survive to the end of this race. He's up in a podium position right now, but Meadows just behind him. But that is accordioning this field back together pretty much from Butcher Benjamin on back. Let's go back and try to figure out what just took place here as all these drivers that were running well up in the top 6 or 7 spots started to have some problems, with Watchhorn being the first.
So back there, you were also just seeing in the corner that Taylor Butcher Benjamin worked his way around Jeremy Berger, and whoa, too much speed through 5. Watchhorn, the slide, have to correct it, and then McGill. It's like maybe the same thing happened to him in 7. Have to see what happened there, but yeah, Watchhorn, no damage, just a big slide. That's going to really light up the rear tires, though.
Yeah, and that's another thing to consider here. We're only a few laps after the stage break. Here's Holden McGill. He almost lost it off of turn 4 that time. And we're going to watch him here coming through turn 5. And we saw Watchhorn have the mistake coming in, and that's pretty similar. I mean, that's a pretty similar set of incidents and circumstances. And that's a pretty uncharacteristic mistake for the point leader, but good news for him, he didn't lose any spots immediately. Oh, then he did it again. He doubled down on his misfortune. That's where he lost the spots. And wow, I did not realize, Emerson, that he had 2 big mistakes in 2 corners in 1 lap.
Yeah, when you light up the rear tires on these cars, they're very hot. And then he also went over a lot of bumps at the bottom of 7. As we go back live, there's the battle for the lead as Joseph has just cleared Logan Hamilton in the front straight chicane.
Wow, so the fight for the lead is intensified. Maybe not quite. It's going to be Hamilton trying to battle back to turn 1. Side by side for the lead. Hamilton fends him off for now as they come through 2.
Oh, this is so tight to the inside. Looks, he's going to make contact.
Oh no, Hamilton hard in the wall. Joseph tries to slow the car to give Hamilton a chance to get back by. Here comes Hamilton back up the outside. What a sportsmanship-like move for Joseph to relinquish the lead position, but how much damage did it do to Hamilton's car?
Again, I keep talking about it, the rear tires that just got lit up in that slide. Hamilton's now going to manage that, and I mean, he's been out front. He should be able to. But once again, let's see here with this replay. Logan Hamilton under attack from Joseph down coming through NASCAR 1 and 2 down the back.
So this is where Joseph made up all that time to try to contest for one of the front spots here. And we're watching him here close up. But he was just super aggressive that time as they came through the bus stop. And look at him try to shortcut that spot there. That is legal. It's paved. They're able to go down there. There's no curbing to designate a particular corner or chicane like you see on the front and back stretch. And he powered his way by Hamilton, who looks very conservative. Hamilton tries to respond on the front stretch chicane. Joseph had the pass made, but he caught those curbs there on the inside on driver's left. And that allowed Hamilton a chance to get back by. But Surprise, surprise, they weren't done yet.
Yeah, now into the next lap, coming through turn 2, and Hamilton clears Joseph here in the 3. Another opportunity, a little hot in the 3, and there's only so much room. And man, Joseph, he did not mean to get in there clearly, as he, backed it off out of 4 to give the lead back to Hamilton. But man, when that door is open, you're so enticed to take it.
But how about the level of respect amongst these two? Is we're going to see here. I mean, you see Joseph trying to put the right sides there on the rumble strips. You see the turtles there down at the bottom. I'm not sure that he could have gone any lower without catching the right front on that blue turtle curbing, which would have consequentially launched him into the right rear quarter panel of Logan Hamilton as well. So I'm going to dub that a racing incident between those two, battling very hard for the race lead. And, and how about this move here by Joseph? I mean, you want to talk about the camaraderie and respect amongst drivers in this league. I mean, he pulled aside on that straightaway and allowed Hamilton a chance to get back up to the front of the field. And I guess he decided that if he's going to get the job done, he's going to have to find another way to do it, because he does not want that to be the race-winning move. He wants it to happen on the racetrack fair and square. And we're back to Hamilton leading Joseph here.
Absolutely. And now we're running about halfway through the fuel tanks here. Remember, running 50% fuel loads. We are going to get green flag pit stops, should we stay green at least. And it's going to be interesting to see what lap do these drivers choose to pit. Oh, 57. Mistake into the back straight chicane. That's Stefan Purcell, one of the bubble drivers.
Yeah, Purcell came into this race one spot out of the championship playoff standings, and we talked about how Uphold was able to rack up some stage points, or at least one stage point, and here's Purcell in the Nickelodeon-colored car, and we've seen that a lot there. A bit of a wheel hop, a lot of rear brake coming into that bus stop. It slides out sideways. Good job getting it stopped before the front end of that car. Noses into the wall. But you see Brett Fisher. Uphold's got to be grinning as he goes by the spinning car. But misfortune there for Purcell, who he's got an agenda tonight, and that is to try to stop the bleeding, as he lost that spot in the standings at Texas the last time out. And this time he is now in a position where he's trying to come back from this.
Oh my goodness, what a great job to keep it out of the wall there. But man, when you're that is one of the heaviest, I think that is the heaviest braking zone on the track. You can argue the front straightaway chicane's a little bit slower. It's just such a difficult corner. And here we go. How about this? Taylor Butcher Benjamin off on the left-hand side there.
Wow, so Butcher Benjamin, who was in a top 5 position, having a problem in the same part of the racetrack. We saw Purcell have his slip, and for the lead, Joseph now out in front of the field yet again. This time he leads the field through turn 1. Will be coming to 20 laps to go the next time by, and Logan Hamilton has dropped to second.
And this is the first time, other than the battle earlier today, that Logan Hamilton is really going to experience turbulent air to the front of his 12 car. Other than lapped cars, but whoa, look at the bobble there in the 5, or out of 5. I think that's the result right there. Also maybe trying to push to get to that 20.
Yeah, we're seeing Logan Hamilton kind of push harder than he has all race long, and I just can't help but wonder how much damage he may have sustained by that pretty significant hit there on the tire wall with what looked to be just a left rear impact, but you would have to imagine the way in which this damage model works. It could have done enough cosmetic damage to really hinder the performance of that car, but he is not giving up at all. I mean, you saw him close in under braking there on Joseph to the backstretch chicane, and now up to NASCAR 3 and 4. He's going to try to utilize the slipstream or whatever is available to him here before they set up for the front stretch chicane, but Joseph appears to have a little bit more pace than Hamilton right now, but you're right, Emerson. We're not done with pit stops yet here tonight. We've seen Hamilton be a little bit brave in the past with pit strategy. That may be what it takes to get the job done here tonight, but let's go back and see how this unfolded here in this incredible race for the lead. After we thought it was going to be the Logan Hamilton show, Joseph says not so fast.
Yeah, they're coming out of the back straightaway chicane here, now up to oval 3 and 4. And here's the run Joseph gets. I think this is just going to maybe be a send into the front straight chicane, but here we go. Look at the slipstream, and he's actually going to back off Hamilton into the chicane. He just misses the apex. Oh, he cuts the curbing a little bit, and Joseph gets right over to the left side.
So a rare mistake by Logan Hamilton opened the door for Joseph to get by. And I'll tell you, Hamilton's very lucky that Joseph did not catch the left rear quarter panel, or that could have been a much bigger deal for these front runners here as they battled for the top spot. So we'll see some other things that have taken place so far the last few laps or so. Here's Hamilton again. Oh no! Hamilton, the dominant car, way off the racetrack and into the wall that time as he comes through turn 6.
Oh man, yeah, that is what just happened while we were watching the replay of how the pass for the lead went. And Hamilton, again, you know, the first time he was the second place car today. And, you know, just pushing there in the 5 and 6, and the car just went on him on corner entry, maybe carried a little too much speed in the 5, and he went off. And now Hamilton, he's driving mad. It's not over, but he's 6.5 seconds behind Joseph. He's going to be able to get a faster pair at the pit stop, but I don't know. That kind of a margin. Joseph is now going to be able to do what Logan Hamilton did in stage 1 and kind of relax.
Boy, you have to feel for Logan Hamilton, especially after we had the chance to talk to him after the break that took place in stage 1. And he seemed very confident, seems to be a pretty well-versed road racer. He talked about his aspiration and love for Formula One, and he said the tracks in which he's got to get on the brakes seem to suit his style. And after the performance he put on in that first stage, it looked as though that he was surely going to be the car to beat. And, you know, hard racing after the restart is what is required in order to get the job done. And Joseph did everything possible to back off and give him a chance to catch that car and retain the lead at one point. But, you know, you have to wonder if it was the damage that has done it in, or is this just all the frustration of having to be behind the 8 ball for the first time all race long, and then those mistakes start to multiply. And I think, Emerson, you're right, though. That fast repair may come at an opportune time, but the question is it going to be enough time to get back up there in the P1, a spot in which he cherished throughout the majority of this race?
Well, I'm watching the gap now. He lost about 4/10 just in that lap alone. And so even he's still got to go a few more laps before he can even get that fast repair. Man, I don't know. Logan Hamilton is really in a bind here, but it's not over. Anything can happen in racing.
So Joseph to the point. He is second in the championship standings, 35 markers behind that of Holden McGill, who rides in 4th. But the biggest thing that has bothered this driver is the fact that even though he has had 9 top 10 finishes, 6 top 5s in his 13 starts, nearly half of his starts this season have been up in the top 5. He has yet to find victory lane, and he's got the Pit Stop TV logos there on the car, and that's important, being the fact in which the network is giving off an additional cash incentive. If you carry the Pit Stop TV logo, you get $5 for a stage win. And also, you get $5 for a race win. And even before that incentive was announced, Pit Stop TV has been a longtime supporter of that of Joseph, and he is looking to bring the brand to victory lane for the first time this season, and he appears well on his way to doing so. But 18, soon to be 17 laps at the Roval at Charlotte is a very long time. In fact, it's longer than the first 2 stages that we had, each of which were 12 laps in length. So we still got a ways to go, plus that aforementioned pit stop that Emerson was hinting about. And Hamilton is not quite done yet, and Colin Stone's still riding in 3rd. It's been a great run for him as well, as we are still a long ways from settling this one.
Oh no, somebody in the barrier. That's Watchhorn in the barrier there on the back straightaway chicane. We're going to get a replay here. Also, Logan Hamilton has now cut a second out of Joseph, but we'll get this replay first with Merrick Watchhorn into the back straight chicane. He's following Taylor Butcher Benjamin here, coming through NASCAR 2.
Yeah, for Watchhorn, it's been pretty much feast or famine so far tonight. If he's not making moves, he's having some trouble. And first, he slid the left front tire a long ways. Then it was the backside that came undone on that car. And that was a pretty nifty move there, though, to keep that thing rolling and keep it out of the tire wall. Thought for sure he was going to make some contact with the protective tire barrier, but he was able to get it righted relatively quickly. I believe he might have lost 1 spot in the exchange, but it's going to be fun to watch Watchhorn, no pun intended, try to get himself back up to the backside of Butcher Benjamin, as Watchhorn has actually now fallen to 10th in what was initially a battle for 7th.
And now we ride on board with Taylor Butcher Benjamin, who has his eyes set on a top 5 of Musati and Meadows. And now on the pit lane is Merrick Watchhorn. He's just Going to get a fresh set of tires and get back going with this race. 17 laps remaining.
Yeah, so Watchorn is elected that now is the time to come down for service. And, you know, we've talked about how, got another car off there. That looks like Stefan Purcell. It is. He slid straight there through the middle of that chicane. This time he's got some damage to the left front. And Purcell, who has been caught off twice so far here tonight by that backstretch chicane, this time it causes some damage to that car. And he is hugging the bottom of the racetrack here while some of the lead lap cars go by on the outside.
Yeah, Purcell might be coming to pit lane this time, and he is. I think he's really lit up the tires, and he says, all right, we're about halfway through this final stage. Let's get a fresh set on. Taylor Butcher-Benjamin on the pit lane as well. And we are coming up to that pit window. It is, I mean, we already had cars come on pit lane, but you're really trying to either split this stage in half, or if you're going to undercut, maybe go one lap prior. So maybe this lap you might come in and, whoa! Joseph really tight out of turn 8. I think he backed off to stay out of the wall.
I think he got the wall good that time coming off the corner. That car looked like it came to a pretty abrupt stop as he came back on the banking. That was significant contact for the leader, who appeared to be in a bit of his own groove. He's ahead of Flores here coming out of turn number 8 it will be. And watch how abruptly this car slows. Bang! That's a pretty solid hit for Joseph, who we already speculated may have used the fast repair on the pit stop earlier. So that is definitely going to risk slowing that car down. And we'll see if that negatively impacts him en route to what he hopes to be a victory. And look at the margin. He's lost a lot of time to Hamilton that lap.
Exactly. And Logan Hamilton is on the pit lane as well. And Joseph trying to get as much as he can. But I think Hamilton, I don't know if he has any sense of what happened to Joseph there. But Hamilton come in and get a fast repair and really click off a fast time here while Joseph struggles with the damage for another lap. We could be really talking a battle here.
Yeah, and it sounds like that Hamilton had to actually back up a little bit there in the pit stall, so that's going to cost him some of that ground that he was able to gain back on Joseph, but he has completed service and is now going to try this 15-lap assault on the leader. We also see Anthony Musatti coming in for service. Joseph, Colin Stone, Holden McGill remain on the racetrack. Corey Meadows, I believe, is in for service as well. So we're starting to see all of the front runners make their way down here for service. As we await on your leader, Joseph and Colin Stone, I would expect them to come down perhaps in the next lap or so as Joseph comes up onto the banking. I would be afraid, Emerson, of losing too much time to these cars on the new tires. Even though that it may come back to you at the tail end of the run, I would be a little bit too worried. As here he comes onto the pit lane, I think maybe we may see this swing and benefit some of those who came down early, at least on the initial stages, because tires seem to matter a lot here tonight.
Absolutely. And then I have no idea how he's going to fare with that right front. There could be a little bit of suspension damage, at the very least, some significant aero damage to that right front. We'll see, but here he comes looking for the box here. Can he stop on the mark? He will.
Yeah, we saw that initial mistake earlier by Logan Hamilton. No such trouble for Joseph, but we'll see what Hamilton could do on his outlap, as it appears as though Stone is also in. So this is going to be the land rush off the pit lane, and we'll see where Joseph comes out. Hamilton coming through. There he goes. Hamilton is clear and by Joseph for the race lead. So the undercut by Hamilton, plus the problem in which Joseph had the lap prior to pitting, or 2 laps prior to pitting, has got Logan Hamilton back out in front.
Absolutely, and if Logan Hamilton took 4 fresh Goodyear tires, he should have the advantage of a cleaner car. Joseph, he's going to have to make do with what's left of that 20 car, but he's got his sights. He's got 1 lap fresher tires on Logan Hamilton, and he sees them getting bigger and bigger out that front windshield.
Yeah, Joseph is definitely pushing really hard that time as he came through the corner. He's out onto the banking now, trying to reel in Logan Hamilton. These guys have football fields between them and Colin Stone, who is praying to the racing gods that he has an opportunity here to get up there and steal a win if something crazy would happen with these front 2, and I would not rule it out. The gap back to Stone, you can't even tell. He's 20 seconds in arrears of these 2, trying to hold on to that 3rd spot over Holden McGill, but we are watching the leaders come into the front stretch chicane with Joseph trying to close for the race lead. Hamilton will hold it at the line, 13 laps to go.
And You want to know how? Oh, look at that. Fastest lap for Logan Hamilton, a 1:22.361. I want to see what Joseph sets this lap. Now, he might also have to, take a little bit of a different line if he gets up to Logan Hamilton here. That was a very shallow line through 3. He's going to set himself up nicely for the arc in the 4-vo.
I was very surprised at how we saw Hamilton go through and take such a wide entry. Remember, that's what caught him off guard and resulted in the semi-spin here a few laps ago. So we're seeing these drivers try some different things here to stay within reach of the competition. And right now, it is all or nothing for these two trying to grab their first win of the season. I want what has been a very competitive 2021 L-TAC Cup Series season with their points leader mired behind them in 4th spot. Hamilton leads him up the backside of the course with Joseph doing everything possible to close up a gap that is now about 0.8 of a second. He seems to be really good right here, though. This backstretch chicane, that's where he got the big run to grab the lead earlier tonight. He doesn't get such a big run that time through the corner. Hamilton will retain the lead to NASCAR 4.
So I'm going to be watching my timing screen here to see what kind of a lap time Joseph sets here. But on that last lap coming into the chicane, he had his left front tire all but in the grass, trying to get every bit of traction here. Or I'm sorry, every bit of room, use every bit of the track he could. And look at that lap. It's a 1:22.977. We'll see here what he can do behind Logan Hamilton now. As the tires, they're going to start to get really, really hot here as they're going to continue to push these cars to their limits.
We've already seen, though, some of the best in this field push things too far. We've seen drivers send it off into the corner a little bit too deep, whether they slide the front tires or the back tires. We've seen these drivers do just that. We've seen them both make mistakes on their own without contact from another competitor, and it's put them behind the 8 ball a little bit. So if they continue to push one another, I think the question is, which one caves under pressure first, if any? These two have been in this position many a times this season. We saw it come to a bit of a head at Texas in the late stages, and I think perhaps we may be seeing that unfold here because Joseph has gotten it down to about 2 car lengths this time in NASCAR 3 and 4, and this race for the lead is far from over.
I still just can't fathom. Both of these drivers, top 5 in points, without a win, and they're going at it toe-to-toe once again here now at the Charlotte Roval with 11 laps to go. This race just keeps getting better and better. The race that keeps on giving to us fans, us spectators, us commentators in this wild, wild event.
It's been unbelievable. It's been a crazy L-TAC season, to say the least, and we mean that in the best of ways. The competition on many of the tracks in which this series runs on, whether it be short track, road course, or oval, typically comes down to the wire. We've seen last lap passes. We've seen battles for the lead. We've seen drivers bounce off one another, slam into each other, and at the end of the day, they're able to laugh about it afterwards and know that they got a chance to come out the following week and try to do battle yet again. But having success in this series goes a long way. Putting yourself in the best position come playoff time is also going to matter a huge bit. So that is something that all these drivers are keeping on their minds, and that is why we are seeing the race for the lead unfold in the fashion that it has so far tonight between Hamilton and Joseph, and they're going to be coming up to the final 10 laps of the Charlotte Roval. And you can see there a little bit of an ebb and flow as far as that gap. You see Joseph get really good under braking. Hamilton appears to be a bit better off the corner. It's going to take one mistake and one slip with a little bit of lap traffic up ahead of these leaders. 10 to go at the line.
We've already seen how lap traffic can affect this battle once in this race already in stage number 2. Who knows what can transpire in these final 10 laps? I can only assume that these leaders are going to be all over drivers' chat, screaming for them to get out of the way, but you know, they're in their own races too. Got a lot of battles going on around the track for their own, own agenda. So as this battle for the lead continues, it's going to be interesting to see what, who they can intercept at what parts of the track.
And as we continue to run more laps here, and boy, that is uphold in a 4-wheeled slide. Almost caught Joseph as he came back on the racetrack. And that's going to break the rhythm of the top 2, and Joseph is there for the lead.
Oh man, and just like that, now they're all over each other through NASCAR 1 and 2. This is again the best slipstreaming portion of the track here into the bus stop chicane now. Here we go. Again, the braking for Joseph. Phenomenal. All over the curbing is Logan Hamilton. Here we go, over the paint.
Hamilton trying to get back to the gas as soon as he can. Almost got back a little bit too early as they came out of turn 8 last time through. This time, though, out of turn 12, he got the car ready to meet the rubber to the road, and he's got himself a healthy advantage, but for how long? At the line, 9 to go. Joseph catches all the curbing. That cost him some ground there at the stripe, and he's going to fall back just a little bit. Behind them, Holden McGill has won the battle for third. Colin Stone has fallen back to fifth. So if something crazy does happen with these two, it would be Holden McGill who could benefit as Ryder Schrauf has spun in front of the leaders. He gets it back underway.
Yeah, tough day for Ryder Schrauf. We continue on here. Logan Hamilton, again, man, this whole stage, Logan Hamilton has had to be on it after the first two stages, relatively calm. At the second stage, Joseph was there, but not riding the back bumper like he is now with 8 laps to go. We're all on the line, and oh yeah, again, both of them wanting to win their first race on the season. Here we go on the Oval 1 and 2.
Yeah, you saw Joseph there get a good run off the corner, but it looked as though as he shifted upwards, he has got the back end of the car a little bit loose. May have jumped the gun a bit too early. What happens under braking this time? The gap stays about a car length. We see if he can get a drive here off the corner. Right now, they're all using the paint available at their disposal on drivers left, and the gap will stay about the same. So, who is it going to be? Right now, Emerson, I can't pinpoint where one driver is better than the other. These two appear to be proactive and reactive to one another. As you see Joseph bonsai into the final chicane. He's there.
Logan Hamilton had a little bit of a weird line coming through 17. Looks like 16. He went wide through the exit. Had to really slow down for 17. And Joseph had a perfect front straight chicane. He's all over the 12 car now. Here we go into the infield once again, Vo.
Ooh, that's the part of the racetrack where these two came together in the past. Joseph keeping it way down low while Hamilton takes that wide sweeping arc through the corner as they came through turn 4 that time. This is where Hamilton had his big mistake earlier in the race. He keeps it pointed straight. The best part that I could see Joseph having is this sector of the racetrack here as he comes through turn 7, setting up for turn 8 and up onto the banking in turn 2. He has been able to shortcut that corner very well. Remember, that's where he got into the wall mid-race that set him back. This time he doesn't get the drive off the corner all that well, but also this backstretch chicane. He's been able to shorten up and straighten up this run here and on the front stretch time and time again, and here he comes.
I can only imagine what that damage on the right front of the 20 car is doing to him. I don't know if Logan Hamilton would be able to hold him off to this extent if that 20 car is fully healthy. Now, I don't know exactly what the effects are, but that 20 car, he is making, I'm not even going to go with that, but he is doing all he can in that 20, and he's all over Logan Hamilton. But is he going to be able to pass him? I don't know if the damage is hindering him from having that attempt to pass him. But with 7 laps to go, we continue to just watch these drivers dance with this, again, very difficult track.
And we've seen the envelope get pushed before. We've seen the attempts made for these drivers to try to get around one another, and it borderline. Oh, that's a big slide by Hamilton that time as he came out of 4. That was perhaps the first mistake out of Hamilton that we've seen in a long while. He's been defensive driving, putting on a spectacular performance there in the art of defensive driving without being too erratic. We're not seeing him swing down to take defensive lines. He's just running his pace, but he's starting to lose the back tires a little bit there, and it cost him on corner exit for the first time in a while. And I think Joseph notices that, and he wants a chance to try to get this pass made as they head up the backside of the course once more with more lap traffic ahead. That time Hamilton middle of the road as he approaches the chicane with Joseph on the back bumper.
I just want to say, remember the fastest lap Logan Hamilton set was a 1:22.3. They're now running 1:25s. These tires have fallen off 3 seconds. These drivers are working with what's left on those tires, and there ain't much. And we're coming to 6 laps to go. These drivers are struggling for grip, also trying to battle one another for the race win. Here comes Joseph, the peak, and the defense from Logan Hamilton. Smoke up here in the Tucson Sound Art turn. That's the 57 of Stefan Purcell.
Purcell got into the wall that time in turn 1. I thought Joseph had enough of a run to drop alongside of Hamilton. A nudge there as they come into the corner. Hamilton catches the car. We're nose to tail for the lead, coming to 4.
Boys, I don't know how many more laps they can run like that. But here we go now, the short shoot to turn 5. Hamilton holding on to that 12 car with what he's got. And Joseph doing a phenomenal job applying the pressure. Here we go into 7.
Oh, he gives him a nudge there again. That's the second time we've seen the 20 into the back of the 12, and there's a third. Right up onto the banking. He jacks up the back end of Hamilton, who holds the top spot for now. They're going to be coming around to 5 to go, but Joseph quite literally knocking on the door for the race lead.
Absolutely banging on the door, trying to find his way inside of that 12 car into the backstreet chicane. Oh, a weird line for Logan Hamilton. Here comes Joseph, side by side, onto NASCAR 3 and 4.
They're going to enter the banking, and Hamilton has gotten himself back out in front after it looked as though Joseph had the preferred line. Hamilton fends him off as they come onto the front stretch chicane. This is where Joseph got a masterful drive 1 lap ago. This time he slides it sideways, and Hamilton will lead at the line. 5 to go. What an amazing show being put on by these two. 34 seconds clear of the pack, and we have yet to settle it so far as another slide by Hamilton off the corner.
5 laps to go, and I think this 12 car, there's not a lot of rear grip left, and I think Joseph, maybe the damage could potentially maybe keep those right sides, those rear tires under him, having to really, I guess, get later on the throttle to make these corners. So I think Joseph might have the upper hand after all right now, but again, 4.5 laps to go, and Logan Hamilton doing a beautiful job defending against these very aggressive attacks from the 20 of Joseph.
Oh, there's another nudge that time as they come out of turn 8. That's the last time that we saw these two trade a little bit of paint coming back up onto the banking. This is the section of the racetrack where Joseph's been trying to set up his move. The entrance to this backstretch chicane through turn 11 and turn 12. You see him swing out wide, middle of the road approach that time for Hamilton. I think that's what's slowing him down, but Joseph can't get up alongside. They're back up onto the banking with Hamilton still holding the lead. The front stretch chicane lies ahead for Joseph to try to make that move for the lead. They're separated by 3 car lengths here as they come to that corner.
It was such a big slide for Logan Hamilton in the back straight chicane. Here we go, the front straight chicane. Oh, that was a crazy straight line, and he's gonna hold on for now, holding the defensive line into 1. Joseph trying to cross him over.
Well, he tried to square him up there, and he tapped the back bumper of the race leader once again. That time they remain 1 and 2. Hamilton really starting to lose the back end of that car. He could feel it getting lighter by the corner, but he has not relinquished the top spot. He's been able to make that car as wide as he can, and Joseph has been as kind as he can, but that is going to start to wear thin. There's also a loud car up ahead. Sean Deal lies ahead of the leaders. We'll see if he becomes a factor while Joseph looks down low. This is where he gets a good drive off the corner, though. We've seen him nudge the backside of Hamilton time and time again. How's it going to go this time? Hamilton is able to get the drive off the corner while Joseph keeps it off the wall.
3.5 laps to go. Hamilton now starting to open up a little bit of an advantage. Is Joseph going to have enough time to reel him back in? We'll see in this braking zone. That's a lot of that gap already eaten up. Hamilton struggling in these slow corners.
Look at Joseph. He's on the power. Where's he going to go with it? As he upshifts there, he loses some ground. He had a really good run that time out of the chicane, but could not get up alongside of Hamilton, who protected well down inside. Let's see what happens here as they get on the binders to the front stretch chicane. Hamilton holds the lead. 3 laps to go.
Onto the front straightaway once again in the turn 1. Joseph did not have the best of runs out of the front straight chicane compared to all the other times. Now they're approaching lap traffic. I believe that's Sean Deal that they're coming up to, who's running in 9th.
And Joseph has a look. Here's that wide entry again by Hamilton, the leader. You see the back end of that car lightening up that time as he comes out of 4. It is amazing that these two have been able to stay this close throughout the duration of this final stage, despite some of the mistakes and contact we've seen between the two of them. Keep in mind, these are the highest running two cars in the point standings who have not yet had a win. They came close to it at Texas, and there's lap traffic ahead. Joseph looks outside.
I don't know why Logan Hamilton was so slow at the apex of turn 8, but I don't know how he got the run as well. Joseph now trying to really size him up here into the back straightaway chicane. Oh my goodness, the closing rate under braking just gets me every time, and around goes Ryder Shroud behind. More bumping coming through the chicane.
Yeah, that time he gave him a shot square at the center of the back bumper, and that allows Hamilton to break free. Great job by Sean Peel to give way as Joseph got loose on the banking that time. 2 laps to go at the stripe, and this is where Joseph's been so good, and he slides this time off the final chicane. Hamilton opens up the lead with 2 to go.
0.4 of a second, but that's really nothing. We continue to see these boys just really ebb and flow their way through this infield section. I feel like Hamilton may be better on this end, but we get to the other end, and Joseph closes right on up. We'll see now with a lap and 3/4 of a lap to go here into turn number 5.
This time they're coming through that section of the racetrack where we've seen Hamilton bobble before, but right now he's been doing an amazing job fending off the challenge of one of the most hungriest drivers in the field. Hamilton and Joseph catch the concrete. That time as they set up for turn 8. That could have taken a bolt out of contention, and now Joseph runs wide. Hamilton holds the lead by a half second with a lap and a half to go.
I think that was more Joseph just trying to get that car to turn. I don't think the right front tire has anything left in it, but when he hit that wall, it kind of set him up for a nice straight line through turn 8.
And now Joseph is starting to get a little bit desperate here. That time he had a mistake in the backstretch chicane. Look at all the ground he's lost to Logan Hamilton, who has done a masterful job defending here at this point in this race. He is going to be coming around to the white flag. The driver who nearly led every lap in this race has been under heavy fire. He has to keep it on the pavement for one more lap to grab his first win of the season. White flag for Logan Hamilton. Joseph a second and a half behind after a pair of mistakes, and he's going to need one out of Hamilton to have a shot at a victory.
I don't know how Logan Hamilton has been able to hold on to this 12 car through all of that, but now on the final lap, can he just tiptoe his way through this part of the course? He's got 1.7 seconds now on Joseph into turn 5 for the final time.
The storylines amongst the front two has been incredible. Sideways, backwards, into the wall, into the tire wall, making contact with one another while battling for the race lead. But when it counts, Hamilton has opened up the biggest lead he's had pretty much all stage long. As he comes up onto the banking for the final time, Corey Meadows is going to give way to the leaders, and Hamilton is less than a half lap away from victory and perhaps sweeping all 3 stages as he comes to the backstretch chicane for the final time.
2 braking zones, now 1. If Hamilton can just make it out of this back straight chicane, it's just all about the front straight chicane now. Joseph giving everything he's got, but he continues to lose time. Almost 2 seconds now, the gap as we come through NASCAR 3 and 4 for the final time.
And through the final couple of corners, here he comes. A goose egg in the win column, no more. Logan Hamilton is going to sweep the stages to grab his first win of the year at the Charlotte Roval. Hamilton wins a thriller, outlasting Joseph at the checkered flag. And 40 seconds back is going to be Holden McGill, holding down the final spot on the podium as long as he can make it back to the checkered flag. But the story of the day is Hamilton. After these two battled for the race lead and the win on numerous occasions, it is Hamilton with the defensive driving effort being able to hang on to the checkered flag for the victory.
Man, they went all 12 rounds and Logan Hamilton comes out on top. What an amazing show. How about Joseph? He's going to pull up alongside Logan Hamilton here. We'll see what happens through turn 8.
I think there's a lot of respect between these two. We saw it earlier when Hamilton got tagged from behind by Joseph, and what I really believe was a bit of a racing incident on the racetrack. But I'm happy to see that these two were able to prove they can continue to race it out amongst one another. And it truly was an incredible run all the way to the checkered flag, with Hamilton getting the win over Joseph and Holden McGill, our podium. We heard from Hamilton once already tonight. We're going to hear from him again by virtue of celebrating this victory after what was a thrilling event at the Charlotte Roval. Who would have thought that all that energy and effort from Texas was going to carry over 2 weeks later on the most unique track on the circuit? It's Hamilton, Joseph, McGill, your podium. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we will hear from our race winner and podium finishers here on Pit Stop TV. You're watching live coverage of the L-TAC Cup Series, round 14 from Charlotte, and we'll have post-race coverage coming at you next.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Welcome back to the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, where the L-TAC Cup Series just wrapped up their 14th race of the season. And if you tuned in for just stage one and thought that you knew how this one was going to pan out, I would say you thought wrong. Even though the results look similar to how they came to the finish line at the end of stages 1 and 2, the battle that we had in the final 31-lap sprint all the way to the checkered flag had us all on the edge of our seats. And I believe I'm going to have to take a little bit of a breather from announcing for quite some time, because this one was fun all the way through. And the driver who took home top honors, it's been a long time coming for sure in terms of the 2021 season. We had a chance to talk to him earlier, and it is our race winner tonight in that of Logan Hamilton. We're going to bring Logan Hamilton in here and have a chance to talk to him about what we thought would potentially be a dominating performance, but it turned into an absolute barn burner there at the finish. Logan, first off, congratulations on the win. I know when we spoke to you earlier after stage one victory, you had a lot of confidence on your side. You talked about how much you love road racing and whatnot. But did you think that things were going to get that crazy in the middle sector of the race, or did you think it was going to be smooth sailing at some point?
Well, in the first stage, I was trying to take it easy, and he was sitting there catching me. I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. But then we got to the second and third stage, and it was like Merrick said a couple weeks ago. He gave me everything I could handle and more. I'm so thankful for this league, just for Tucson Sound Art, all the guys, Steven. They're the ones that got me here, and it's a year too late, but I'm very happy to get it.
Now, this has been a long time coming for you, especially this season. I mean, you've been running at the front, pretty much all week long. I mean, all year long, I should say. I mean, 4 top 5s. This will be your 5th top 5 of the season, your 13 starts, 9 top 10 of the season. But finally, your first victory. I mean, do you feel like you finally got that weight off your shoulders now that you've added your name to the win column this season?
Yeah, it's a really big relief. That was always the thing. It's kind of like, you sit there, you're always looking, you sit there, you're like, yeah, I'm good on points. It's not that big of a deal if I win, but you really, deep down, you're always going to want to win. You're a racer, you're going to want to win, and you're not going to be happy if you don't win. So, and you got to win to win championships. So, this is really big, more than just adding a number 1 instead of a 0 in the win column.
Now, we've seen you and Joseph battle just 2 weeks ago at Texas, where you guys were both going for your first win of the season. And even though it got a little bit physical at times, as it did tonight, the level of respect between you two was hard to ignore. I mean, you had the contact coming through 3 and 4 where he actually slowed, allowed you the opportunity to catch it, albeit your car suffered some damage at some point. But from there, the racing just continued to be fierce, but it never seemed to cross a line. And from my perspective, it looked as though he pulled up alongside and congratulated you at the end. What does it mean to you to know that you're out there running as hard as you can with somebody like Joseph, who you two seem to share a very obvious and visible level of mutual respect for one another?
Yeah, I want to thank him for that. I really appreciate the racing etiquette that he showed. I think most people would have just sat there and been like, oh, this is my chance to drive off into the distance. So that was very class act from him, and it was good enough. It was good. It was a good race because you were clean the whole time pretty much, and it never, like you said, stepped over the line. We never tried to wreck each other. I fully know that turn 3 was an accident, but I mean, yeah.
Well, you guys put on a heck of a show for all of us and everybody who was watching, and I know that you got to now start preparing for the next race on the agenda, which will be at Auto Club Speedway. But I mean, first things first, who do you have to thank before you start focusing on Auto Club? Give you a chance to celebrate this victory here tonight. Who makes this possible for you? First chance to be on the top step of the podium per se and have that victory. Who do you have to thank for your success here tonight and this whole season, as a matter of fact?
My sponsor, Tucson Sound Art. Steven Parrott was my crew chief tonight. Kept me calm the whole time. I probably would have lost my marbles if he didn't sit there and coach me through it. DSR, B&H Racing, Nolan, all the admins, you guys for broadcasting, and all my friends and family that are watching tonight. It's going to be a party.
Well, you have a chance to go enjoy it now, my friend. I know we spoke earlier, and I said that we were hoping that maybe we catch up later on in the night. I'm happy we did, celebrating your first win of the season, and I believe it's perhaps the first of many more still to come. Logan Hamilton, great job tonight, and congratulations on the win here tonight at the Roval.
Thank you.
And again, that is Logan Hamilton, who is the driver who was able to celebrate victory. The other side of that thrilling battle for the race victory is standing by with Emerson Arden, our second-place finisher, and Joseph.
Yes, sir. In every battle, there is two sides to the story. And Joseph, few laps led here today, and I don't know what you were able to do with that 20 Carver in that final sit, even with that damage. I first have to ask, how much damage did you take when you hit the wall there off of turn 8, and did it affect you in that final stint?
Oh yeah, that was a really silly mistake by me. But yeah, I think it affected a little bit because like when we were on like the NASCAR part where it was like wide open and you just had like straight line speed, it was definitely a little bit slower because of the aero damage, but it wasn't a big deal, really.
Fair enough. I know you can ask anybody, who doesn't win a race, but what could you have done differently to get Logan Hamilton tonight?
Yeah, my main mistake was like the stage before I was saying I should pit lap 46. That's like halfway, and then I didn't end up pitting because I second guessed myself. I probably should have pit like the lap before because that really gave him the 3-second gap, and that allowed him to catch back up because he got the fresh tires early, and I wasn't able to get around him after. But that was probably the one mistake.
There was a moment that you had a great run through the back straightaway chicane, and you pulled up alongside of him on the paint, coming into NASCAR 3, and then he kind of held his line there on the line. What did you make of that move as you were coming into NASCAR 3 and 4?
Oh, that was just like hard racing. I don't think it was like anything. He was sort of letting me up, but like it was just hard racing mostly. I don't see anything about it.
Fair enough. Once again, you keep trucking on, still up there in the points. How are you feeling about next week, man?
I'm kind of excited. We're back to an oval. I'm not that good at road courses, I said, but we'll get it done at Auto Club hopefully. It's kind of like Michigan. I was fast there, so we'll see what happens. I think I might be fast.
Right on. And before you go, who do you have to shout out? Who do you have to thank for the second place finish tonight?
Probably shout out Tucson Sound Art, Pit Stop TV, everyone. You guys amazing. Probably Logan Hamilton. That was an awesome race. Even though I didn't win, I still had a ton of fun. That was some great racing. Like the last whole stage, I guess. We were like right on each other, like beating and banging. That was so much fun. Even though it sucks, I didn't get the win. I put my heart into it, but that was still some of the best racing, I think. And hopefully you had a good time too.
I'll echo what Eric said, and that the respect between you and Logan Hamilton is very admirable. And I think we need more of that in racing anyway. But once again, congratulations on the second place finish here today and the great run. Best luck to you next week at Auto Club. And we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Second place finisher, Joseph. Again, heartfelt battle there at the end. Just came up a little bit short. But quite a ways back, we'll find our third place finisher, Holden McGill, and he's standing by with Eric Brennan.
Thanks a lot, Emerson Arden. And the guy who had a pretty unique perspective to the way in which tonight's race panned out, our points leader, Holden McGill, who had a really solid night. Third place finish here, Holden, on a racetrack in which caught many by surprise. I know it's hard to call it a good points day when one of the drivers chasing you, or in fact, two of the drivers chasing you, finish ahead of you at the checkered flag. But third place finish on the Roval. What are your thoughts after having a solid run on a racetrack which in the past has thrown a wrench of chaos in championship pictures before?
Well, there was a couple things I'd like to have back, but at the end of the day, I only lost like 3 points to Joseph, and I guess that's just damage control, which it was a good night. I'll take it.
Now, we saw everybody have problems at one point or another. We saw you get turned around while trying to avoid hitting Jeremy Berger earlier in the race. After that, things kind of settled down, had a little bit of contact after a restart. Was your goal after a couple of those near misses or close calls to kind of just ride in place and just salvage the night, or were you pushing pretty hard there to see if you had anything in store for Joseph or for Hamilton there towards the end?
I was pushing pretty hard until I pretty much spun it twice in that little section coming back out of the infield. And then after that, I was just trying to get back to third and just ride there because I knew I wasn't going to catch him at that point.
Now, while most of us were watching the battle for the lead, we did take notice that you got up to third and around Colin Stone, probably with a little bit less than 10 laps to go. Were you aware of what was happening at the front of the pack and perhaps even kind of hoping for things to get a little bit rough and wild there to give you a chance to grab yourself what would have been your second win of the year? Or were you just kind of focused on hitting your marks, holding on to that third spot and hoping that the cars would fall where they may?
Well, I had Grant and Ryan in my ear kind of telling me what they were doing, but at the same time, I was still 33, 34 seconds behind them. So unless they wrecked and got stuck on something, there wasn't really going to be anything to help me.
Well, things are going to get back to a relative normal, we'll call it, but Auto Club Speedway next week. Back on the ovals. Sounds like everybody's kind of looking forward to that again. What about you? What are your thoughts? We're taking this points lead back onto a couple of the roundy rounds before we inch a little bit closer. I think we got 5 races till the playoffs kick off. Auto Club next week. What are your thoughts? You want to try to close out this quote-unquote regular season with a bang?
Yeah, it'd be nice to just stay consistent, maybe get a win or two here and there if the opportunity comes up. But I'd like to just keep doing what I've been doing the last couple races and just try to make this points lead last just long enough to make it there.
Well, you've been doing it very well. I feel like every time that I've looked at the championship standings, it's been your name atop them, and we will see if that is able to remain the same. And Holden, you've had a spectacular year with your Badger Racing team. Who do you have to thank for what is yet another podium finish, your 9th top 5 of the season? Who makes it all possible for you?
Well, just thank my teammates. We get a lot of time on track together, and then tonight we had 2 of our guys that just didn't really feel like they had a good enough handle on the track to race or had circumstances where they couldn't. So we had Grant and Ryan pretty much spotting for us, which it just helped having an eye in the sky to tell you what's going on around the track and just kind of help you think your way through it. So thanks to those guys. They help a lot, and I try to help them as much as I can.
Well, Holden, congratulations to you on another great, strong, consistent run and finish on a racetrack that caught many off guard here tonight. We look forward to seeing what you have in store for us at Auto Club next week, bud.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Oh, and thanks to Whiplash Media for being on the car. I forgot that one.
No worries there, Holden. Holden McGill, our third-place finisher here tonight on the Charlotte Roval. The points leader is going to protect that championship points lead heading into our round at the Auto Club Speedway 1 week from tonight. Well, Emerson, we had a chance to hear from our top 3. Let's take an opportunity here to see how the rest of the field came to the checkered flag. Hamilton, Joseph, McGill, your top 3. Anthony Musatti bounced back from a couple of bits of misfortune on his night to finish in 4th, and Taylor Butcher-Benjamin was your top 5. Colin Stone, heard from him earlier at the end of stage 2, was running as high as 4th at one point in this race. Fell to 6th late in the going, but still, that's a run that Collins should definitely be proud of, with Merrick Watchorn being the last car on the lead lap. Cody Meadows pulled aside late in the going to let the leaders pass in order to get themselves in race-winning contention towards the finish. Meadows' first car 1 lap down in 8th. Sean Deal bounced back from some misfortune, and Barrick Uphold collected some stage points en route to a top 10 finish. That's going to help him stay above that cut line here with a handful of races to go, and Uphold rounds out your top 10.
On to the next page results here. We have 11th place Robert Pattengale, who's there in the 33 car, able to get it done. 12th place Brett Fisher had some early troubles, and he'll end up there in 12th. Jeremy Berger, man, he was up there in the first stage, also had some troubles. He'll be the last car 1 lap down in 13th. Stefan Purcell needed to have a good little day to keep himself up in that bubble battle. He'll be the only driver 2 laps down in 14th. Frank Flores, we saw play with some grass earlier. He's 15th, 4 down, and Ryder Schrauf had also a really tough day in that number 58. He'll be finishing 16th, 5 laps down.
And of course, we would not be able to do this if it wasn't for our incredible partners and the people who allow us to be here, including our friends at Tucson Sound Art. You see the website there, TucsonSoundArt.com. Check out all they have to offer. Remember, it is your picture, your music. And when you want to check out their products and services, make sure you use the promo code PitStopTV at checkout to save 10% off your wall-mounted sound art device today. And again, that is Tucson Sound Art, TucsonSoundArt.com to learn more. We also want to thank our partner at Race Pace, and that is something that I would have leaned on a bunch in preparation for this event. I am the first to admit that I am not the best road course racer on the platform or on the sim, so I would have turned to our friends over at Race Pace for sure, because I need the help of a real-world race engineer on speed dial, and this is your opportunity to do the same. At Race Pace Setups, they take a true driver development service and setup shop, roll it all into one, and you can work with our friend Tyler there to make sure that you can step up your game for your next race. Be sure to pick up the pace with Race Pace, and Race Pace Setups, another proud partner here on Pit Stop TV. We are also brought to you by, and all of our coverage, by our friends at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, because when it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Owner Ashley Bullier, a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and most importantly, personalized services. Contact them throughout their social media platforms or check out their website as you see below, permanentmakeupinmaine.com, to learn more about what they could do for you, because if you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, you can give Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine a call today. We're also brought to you by, as we heard Holden McGill mention, Whiplash Media, Pit Stop TV's parent organization that specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs you see on Pit Stop TV broadcasts, and so much more. They also have a significant presence in the real world of motorsports, offering services such as photography, social media management, public relations, and more. To check out all that Whiplash Media could do for you and your racing ventures, visit whiplash-media.com. And lastly, one of our newest partners here on the platform, a close friend to a handful of us here on the platform, BAM Racing Videos. By a race fan, for the racing community. Check them out on social media. Brandon Mettler is always sharing some pretty exciting and unique stuff from around the motorsports world from your local short track. He's also got the partnership with Carolina Speedway as well. Or he was at Carolina Speedway, I should say, and he is involved in motorsports from top to bottom. And as a matter of fact, I typically go to that page every Saturday and Sunday morning in order to check out what I missed as far as some of the exciting moments at the local short tracks. And again, that is our newest partner at BAM Racing Videos to learn more. And it's because of all those incredible partners that we are able to do this, and that is bring you exciting and thrilling racing action like what we had here tonight with L-TAC at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Emerson, I didn't think that we could come close to the entertainment and action that we saw at Texas. I'll give Texas a bit of a nod here as far as being a long-term thriller, but tonight surely, I think, outdid our expectations for what we thought we would see, especially after stage one. I'm going to go to bed tonight with the adrenaline pumping a little bit after that one. How do you feel about how tonight went, my friend?
I am so pumped. Absolutely agree. This race, especially that final fair, the second and third stage for sure. Joseph was really laying it on Logan Hamilton. Hamilton able to prevail. I'm just happy I now have another piece of evidence to, prove to people that stock cars do belong on road courses, because this was an amazing show. And man, oh man, I cannot wait for next week at Auto Club. But in the back of my mind, I'll be waiting for that next road course. We can get another great show like we had here today and like we had at Sonoma a few weeks ago.
And tonight we were introduced to our 10th different winner on the season. A lot of talk about how many winners have been on the NASCAR Cup Series. Let's look at the L-TAC Cup Series, because we've had 10 different faces and names adorn the top of the pylon in 2021 thus far, with more drivers still yet to crack the win column this season. Now, we're not done yet on the platform for this week. We got a lot of racing still to come, including on Sunday night. It's going to be the XSLR Dallara IR01 at Spa-Francorchamps. That's going to be an incredible race to watch there. Monday night, our double headers are back, as a matter of fact. We got the BRP Pro Dirt late models at Lima Land Motorsports Park and the return of the Pacific Challenge GT3 Series on what's going to be a short 5-race May sprint. We'll have more information available on that one in the not-too-distant future. But if you want to get your sim racing fix, Monday night is the place or the day to do it. Pit Stop TV is the place to do it. We also have Newark Season 13 continuing on with their season. They're going to do a little bit of road course racing as well on Tuesday night at Road Atlanta. And on Wednesday, it's the BRP Tour Modifieds at Watkins Glen International. It's been a while since Tour Modifieds were on a road course of that nature. On the sim, though, we get to see it all unfold, and that will be here on the platform this coming Wednesday night. And, of course, 1 week from tonight, the L-TAC Cup Series takes their 15th race of the season back on the ovals, this one at the Auto Club Speedway. Saw a picture floating out on social earlier of that venue, which, as we know, is going to have one more race on its conventional layout, the 2-mile V-shaped oval. We get to see it, though, 1 week from tonight with these very drivers. We'll see if we'll have an 11th different name in Victory Lane, or perhaps some of these other drivers who have collected trophies already on the season. They may want to try to grab one more there out on the West Coast, and you'll see it all here on Pit Stop TV for the rest of the 2021 season. I also want to take this opportunity to thank our entire production team. Coming into tonight's broadcast, we had to pull a couple of audibles. I want to send best wishes to our producer, Andrew Cardinale IV, who's a voice who oftentimes represents this brand quite well. He's actually a little bit under the weather tonight, but he's done an amazing job in our production truck. Nate Stewart, we pulled him off the bench to help us out with our social media and Apex Action Photography. And we also have Emerson Arden, who is the other voice you heard here on the call tonight. As always, hitting it out of the park, being able to carry the energy and efforts that is behind this L-TAC series. It has been an amazing evening. And we mentioned earlier social media. If you want to check us out, the best way to do so, Facebook.com/PitStopTV/ also on Twitter.com/PitStopTV_, Twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV/. And lastly, my favorite, my personal preference, especially on nights where I'm not on the call with these races, YouTube.com/PitStopTV1/ to make sure you are catching every bit of on-track activity that Pit Stop TV has to offer. Emerson, before we say goodnight, buddy, just want to give you one more shot here. We got Auto Club up next. After that, we're going to continue on with Indy, Phoenix, Charlotte, Oval, and then the playoffs start. I think this L-TAC season is just starting to shake things up just in time for the playoffs a few weeks from now.
Absolutely. That number of races to the playoffs keeps growing smaller and smaller. The intensity is going to keep getting bigger and bigger. It's going to be a lot of fun next week at Auto Club. Big, wide 2-mile speedway. But that means there's a lot of opportunity for cars to be packed up. We'll see how it goes next week.
1 week from tonight, Auto Club Speedway on Pit Stop TV. Till then, we want to bid you all farewell. We want to thank you all so much for tuning in and joining us here tonight after what was yet another L-TAC thriller, and we can expect more of the same throughout the rest of the 2021 season. On behalf of everybody at Pit Stop TV, I'm Eric Redden. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Why not?
Ah,
Why not?